Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hey, it's Lifeguard Ross here. There's no running whenever Can Crushers is on.
Hello. Welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. The sweet southern sound of my voice. No, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm Mark. That's Sir Michael Jenks. You're here on Can Crushers. And before I welcome Jenks in, I have to throw myself under the bus. This was an executive decision that I made that I didn't executive with anybody else. Jenks is going to like, it's your fucking podcast. I don't care. Wednesday night spotlights have been moved to 7 o'clock, by the way, at night, release times, just because of everything going on. I might be doing due diligence in not posting them at work anymore. Like, maybe I feel a little bit guilty. Or maybe there's just so much going on that I can't make sure they're on all platforms correctly, because I also check that they're on all platforms correctly. This way, when I'm sitting home by myself doing nothing, playing Fighter Fest or this, that, or the other, that Fighter Fest is definitely not even named.
It's Fight Forever, but hey, you know what? It had fight in it.
It did. The spotlight starting last Wednesday have moved to the 7 o'clock hour of nighttime on Wednesdays. So,
did you get in trouble, or was it just a conscious decision?
It was actually, I think I'm growing up. Nobody has ever known that, well, I'm either driving when I'm posting them, which is probably the stupidest time for me to be posting them.
Yeah.
Or this last couple of weeks, there has been anxiety driven by Mark to make sure they're out by like 8 o'clock in the morning this Saturday. And then, as you know personally, myself, that's the world on fire.
Yeah.
In my whole world. I'm like, this isn't going to be out by 8 o'clock. Listen, I know everybody's not knocking at the door as soon as the notification comes off at 8 o'clock. Oh my God, I got to listen to it right now. But in my head, there's people that are doing that. So I have moved it to nighttime. So
it's your podcasting work ethic type deal. You had a set time.
Yeah,
you're
not
doing
my real
things,
work
like
ethic.
you had a set time. It's your baby. You always did it then, and you haven't communicated out yet that, hey, we're shifting this to 7 o'clock at night or anything like that. So you're trying to keep up with it as much as possible.
Right. And it makes more sense. I can schedule stuff during the day. The spotlights are never scheduled because they're harder to schedule on all your algorithms to get it done right. So
that's one I haven't heard in a while.
It's just easier for me to post them around 7 o'clock at night on Wednesdays.
That's fair. That's fair.
So that's why Lifeguard Ross came late, everybody, because I did they're like, a friend, Ryan, and not Ryan Mosley, another friend, because Ryan, like, I didn't send that because he listens to every one, but the other Ryan, who I will not say his last name, is like, 2 weeks in a row with no spotlight? What the hell has happened to Can Crushers? Oh, shit. I didn't tell everybody last week.
Yeah. It happens. It happens.
Yeah. So, Wednesday nights now for the spotlight. Still Saturday mornings for this shit show. So I'm drinking Elegant a plethora of Elegant beers. The first one is Elegant beer. Now, it's called Fall Festival with Bavarian hops. Jenks, this is put a leaf in a Miller Lite, and that's your fall beer. That's how I'm going to describe that.
I mean, that's a good way to describe it, I guess. It sounds
Nothing
not
more,
delectable.
nothing less.
Yeah.
Nothing more,
it's
nothing
there.
less.
It is there for what it needs to be.
Yep.
So,
I mean, it's definitely a leafy wrap. It's only 5%, 5.6%, so it's your normal beer. They just put a leaf inside of it.
right.
Elegant Valley, I'm sorry, but we'll see what happens in the next. There's 3 more for this episode that I have to drink, so it's got to be a 4-beer show to get
That's
through
fair.
all of them.
That's fair.
You're being good, so let's go over and say welcome to the show, Sir Michael Jenks. How was your week? You were off of beer this week because you have a plethora of going on.
I got a plethora going on, left, right, and different. I'm getting this house ready for fall festivities tomorrow. Maybe it's the name of the show is Asking Fall Festivities of Can Crushers or some shit like that. We'll figure it out. But
it's a start, at least.
It's a start. We'll make progress. We'll market it better. We'll make it by the end of the show. But yeah, setting up for pumpkins and tie-dye. Something I do every year. Just tie-dye some shit, carve some pumpkins, and just have a good time with all the families and all that stuff, getting together and whatnot. So I'm getting shit together for that. So I have to be good tonight because I got shit to do after we record and all that. But tomorrow I'm having this delectable, what I've heard is delectable apple pie beer from Trails to Ales down in Franklin, PA. It's from their Apple Fest that happens every year at this time. So I am looking forward to having that touch my lips when I get going tomorrow.
Will you FaceTime me when you drink your first drink of this? Because I'm actually jealous. This sounds amazing. You don't.
Yeah,
kidding.
I will try to remember.
No,
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I crack it at 11 tomorrow, to be honest. Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
This should be your special review next week.
Oh yeah, we can definitely review it next week. And if it's trash, it's trash, and we'll get through it. But getting ready for that. I was getting not spooked out of my mind, but had a ghost tour yesterday with work and that for a team building event. So also had a couple beers that were absolute trash after that. So we won't call them out, but yeah, don't get that session. But
you drank it orally, right? It was an oral session as well.
Yeah. But don't come after me, Mox. Anyways, went on a ghost tour underneath Erie, Pennsylvania. Yeah, from the train station, there's tunnels that go under the post office, which I found out.
You didn't see anything first and foremost?
No, a lot of tetanus-related items you get tetanus from. But there was probably a lot of lead and asbestos on the walls down there as well.
You didn't lick anything then?
No, I didn't lick anything. What was the creepiest thing was the mummified spider that was just dangling in front of one of the boilers that they had down underneath in the pits of hell, as we were calling it.
Was mankind there at least?
I would at least class the place up a bit. But no, listen, we had to walk through a literally wooden door that in front of it was illuminated by a red light. So you were literally look like you're walking into the depths of hell to try to access this place. So you're walking and navigating around, and I'm like, oh my God. And
I'm not going to make a podcast tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's under the train tracks, and a train rolled over top of us at the same time. And we were all like, no, fuck this. And there was like some dust that came down, and we were like, I'm getting the fuck out of here before it falls on us. But it was just creepy because it's basically they cleaned it out enough so you could walk around and do ghost tours and kind of leave it spooky and whatnot. And then there's a couple rooms where they just had old shoes lying about, a doll in a old shower area, broken toilets. It was creepy as hell. Funny story from that. We went into this room. We all explored whatever. Came out, did another room. We came back and everybody was going to go back upstairs. Well, 2 of my coworkers were like, Jenks, protect us. We're going in to take a picture with this doll. I'm like, well, shit. Now I'm stuck with this. So I'm in light duty. I'm walking in with the light. They're fumbling. They can't get the phone off. in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'll be smart. I said, I'll get the picture, right? Not thinking, when you go to take the photo, go to the photo app with your flashlight on, turns the flashlight off.
Yeah.
They screamed so loud, so I unintentionally scared the shit out of them. They grabbed this photo and just booked it past me. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just walking out now. And like, they're just, everybody else is standing outside like, where are these idiots at? Like, where did they go? And you can just see from the picture that they're just petrified by what happened down there. So I got a good asshole moment in. It was what it was. But yeah, it was a good time. You know, can't complain too much about it. So I did have some frosty beverages, so I wasn't on the good wagon all week, but I had a couple beverages. But all in all, it wasn't a bad week. A lot of progress made in that. So how was your week?
Well, I'll start with my phone, which I had. I'm one against ordering new phones. Like, my phone is like 4 years old. It is the SE, second version of the SE, so like 95 other phones have come out. A good 4 years, maybe 5. I don't want a new phone.
Yeah.
It's come to the point. Plus, I also like the home button. This is the last one that has the home button.
Oh, the actual button you have to click. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And truth be known, I don't need the newest one. I could order another one of these, right? But in a year, the software in this will shit the bed because that's the way iPhones are made. Let's be true again. Well, the family has talked me in. Get the 15. It'll last till the 20 comes out. That's just the old man that doesn't need to switch every other year like we do. Okay, we'll do that. But the only reason why I'm getting, so I ordered the 15. It should be here midweek. Stuff. And somebody else is excited still. Can we switch? Can I have this one? Can you have that one? No, I'm going to keep this one. I'm excited about the camera. WrestleCade's coming up, so yeah. See, so if anything,
yeah. Bailey was getting a little frustrated by why didn't I get the phone type thing.
See, this happens. It has to be me because I don't get every phone like this. It has to be me in the garbage truck or the way I charge or something. When I plug it in, and I'm showing Jenks, not that anybody else knows, I plug it in, and now I have to wrap the cord for it to charge because something inside this is wonky or someplace. A charging port, essentially, is what it's called.
Yeah.
And if I don't wrap it, it doesn't charge. So it's in the truck wrapped. It's in this. I don't know how I do it every time. I deal with this for months. Well, this week, you have to stand it on its head, wrap it the other way. Like, it just needs to be at that certain spot. Will it make it until the next phone comes midweek? Sure as fuck hope, but it's now at that point that, like, if you get 70% charge on it, you run with that because it takes forever to charge. It's just, again, it's just the way they're made. And I hate that they're made to go to shit. And somebody's going to text me or leave an email or something. Well, if you take it apart, you can just move it. I will never in my life take a phone apart. Never. Because I can't put it back together. There's not instructions a la PlayStation how to put shit back together. Put the screw here. Oh, okay, yeah. I'll take something out of this, and it's done.
Yeah.
So then I won't have a phone. And then I'll be weeks without it. So I'll struggle for a couple more days. And that's why I have to get a new phone. Poor Mark. But
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. My phone before it shit the bed, and the only reason I got rid of it was because I broke the screen, and then the screen finally went completely nuts on it. I had the same charger port issue. I bought the universal charger bases so that you can just put it on there. That was the best investment I could do. But when you're
do.
Yeah, but when you're in certain scenarios where you're in a truck, you're in in the living room out here, I don't have enough room to get a thing. I'm like, all right, well, I guess you got to figure it out, make it work, get that right spot, and not touch it. And you kind of just have to leave it there. But the universal bases are great. However, I've noticed that it doesn't work through the OtterBox on my phone. So you're kind of like, well, the new phones, they don't work because you have to figure out how to get it or the right base to make it work.
Yeah,
but
$1,500 over the next 2 years, essentially, is what I'm paying per, not per month, but
yeah.
There's going to be an OtterBox on this.
Oh yeah, 100%. The time when I took my OtterBox off of it, that's when I broke it. And I had a screen protector and everything, but it was a cheap case type thing, and it broke it. So never again. Never fucking again.
Speaking about other things that are broken, we'll talk about work. Go to the dump, do the route Monday, all happy, go lucky, coming back from the dump. I start up one of our big hills.
Mm-hmm.
All PSI plummets. The brake light comes on. There is no brakes in the truck. I'm about 5 miles away from home.
Oh my God.
Pull over. I am now stepping on the brake so I don't coast or go anywhere, because that's just where I am. Call the mechanic. Is it a line? Insert mechanic's name if you know it. I can't get out of the truck. I'm on Route 219 with people just buzzing by me. What if this thing rolls on me?
Yeah.
I need somebody. He sends the other garbage men because he's too busy. They're like, well, let's just roll it back down the hill to another place that we use in case, like, our mechanic can't do it.
Yeah.
And that was maybe half a mile down the road.
Oh, my God.
By the time I got it down the road, DOT happened to be behind us, just going to their next place. We pull into that place, he pulls in. Why is your fucking truck on fire? Well, it's not. It's just the brakes because they're seized up.
Yeah.
And we have to limp it to here. Oh, so you're not going to the dump? No, it's staying here until it's fixed now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So almost burned the truck up. Almost.
Oh my God.
Just a brake line just. And I've never had a brake line blow in me on any vehicle.
Yeah.
But a big garbage truck, it kind of shook the truck out. I knew something happened before I saw the air pressure just plummet. I'm like, what was that? So I was kind of already pulling over to speed. Yeah. And then by the time I'm pulled over, all you hear is it just.
Oh my God.
The mechanic's too busy to do anything, so.
Jesus Christ.
I'm dying on 219.
But hey, he's busy.
Get out and look and see where the hose is broke, so if I can just bring a hose or a clamp. Okay, cool. I'll look and it'll roll me over. Then you need a casket as well.
Yeah.
So, he's retiring January. So he's punched out.
He's already coasting.
Literally. He's punched out.
His brake line's already popped a while ago.
Yeah, it is now do your stuff, your own stuff, this, that, and the other. So, yeah. That's,
my God.
Other than that, my week has been good. A lot of interviews set up. And I'm going to tell you guys this right now, and Jenks doesn't even know this. When it comes to the weeks of December 9th and December 16th, those are probably not going to be, and we'll talk about this, live wrestling shows of ours, of recapping the week. Due to the fact that the big star over here.
You got shit to do.
Yeah. We're not just going to cover Raw for you. Yeah. Because that's essentially what it would be. We're covering Raw and nothing else. Because everything else might,
everything's shot. You're busy.
Yeah. So we'll have pre-recorded lists is what I'm thinking. What's going to come here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do the spooky one. We'll throw something together. We got a month and a half to, So be prepared for those. It's not like we're going to continue to go that way just to get content out so you guys don't forget that you won't. Trust me, with the questions that you guys sent, you won't forget about us. Except Donnie Bambino. I will have something. When we come back on the 23rd, Christmas Eve, then who the hell knows what we're going to bring you.
Yeah.
A lock, stock, and barrel of everything that's gone on in the month that we didn't record. Right. Or
we might have to do that. And then, I mean, the 29th at that point, that's Crushies from what is that the end of year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, the 30th. That's a Crushies. So
yeah, a recording the 29th. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just a heads up.
That's our December, guys. Oh, and we've kind of already alluded to it. The second, you and me, maybe some guests, we're doing this. We're face to face for the first time since God knows how long.
10 years.
It's been 10 years, yeah. But yeah, we're face to face, ready to do this.
Might have a live show. Peeping on
and peeping in. Bailey will be live in living color. This is going to be a whole big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many guests might be in-house.
In-house, out of house, left house, right house. We'll see what happens. But
do you have anything not wrestling related that you want to talk about real quick?
Oh, man. Trying to think. No, I don't think I do. Do you?
Well, I was just going to bring up
my memory.
The only thing I was going to bring up is we didn't talk baseball last week at all. I'm really pulling for the Rangers, and I think it's going to be Rangers Phillies. You guys will know more as you're listening to this, but the Rangers, as of recording, what is it, tied up? Yeah, it's 2-2 in the series as recording. You know, either the Astros have the lead or the Rangers will have the lead.
Right.
Phillies are up 2-1 as recording. They could essentially have this 3-1 and wrapped up tonight.
Yeah, Phillies seem to be rolling right now.
So I really, not that I'm rooting for the Phils, I just know, and I love Verlander. I do. No, everybody will tell me he has them. He's a Hall of Famer. I know he is, without a doubt. One more for him. If he could get traded to the Rangers in between this and go and help them, that would be awesome. But I really would like to see the Rangers pull this away. I
would love it too. I hate the Astros through and through. Not as much as the Yankees, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Texans are just or the Rangers are just running out of steam a little bit in this series because they blew through Tampa, barf, but then they blew through Baltimore, and it's like, okay, you guys are going, you're going, and I think they had a 2-0 lead on Houston at one point, and now it's kind of they're sputtering out, which is not great for their chances. And when you start sputtering out, that's when you start losing things, start falling behind, everything's falling apart. Right now, it's 1-1 top of 6, and they're trying, but I don't know.
Yeah. In the National League side, and we'll keep it quick, we'll get to wrestling. Listen, the Phillies bats are just
going off.
Unbelievable.
They are going off. The Phillies are too good. There's just no way that they weren't going to go off. Even against, not even against Diamondbacks, but I think overall, just in general, that's how good the Phillies have been. It's like they're the team to beat in the National League, whether record-wise or whatnot. They are the team to beat.
They're the team to beat overall. There's not a pitching staff left that can keep them.
No, that can keep them down.
No.
Yeah. So. Nobody's ready to keep them in the park. So.
No.
But.
All right, hot topics in wrestling now. The one that I'm really, 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 really super excited about, man, NWA on CW. Like, people have poked about that, but I think it's actually really fucking awesome. I really do. Now, granted, I might watch it at a different time than Jenks or somebody in Arkansas or somebody, because CW is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not scheduled. Well, scheduled, yeah, but it could be on at any time, because the CW also has WOW, Women of Wrestling.
Right.
I get it like 8 o'clock Sunday night.
Yeah.
My buddy in Pittsburgh gets it like at midnight Saturday night. And this one, it all depends on when their time slot with their news and their this and their baking shows that are local all get thrown in there.
Yeah.
But it's an outlet that isn't Fight that people have to pay for, isn't YouTube that I think YouTube was their best one between that and Fight.
Yeah.
But at least it's national now. I know there's a lot of older people that will not watch full shows on YouTube.
Yeah.
I am not those, because I go down a rabbit hole on YouTube. And I do have something I want to bring up. That was actually my next thing to talk about. But do you think this is good for Corgan? Because they're actually getting 2 shows. Yeah.
Well, it's hell of good for Corgan in NWA. I mean, think about it this way. WWE, when it put SmackDown on, it was on WB for the longest time. Then UPN, but WB and I think UPN combined to make CW networks. So this is a prime opportunity where you can build your fan base. Yes, WWE was nationally known at that point, won the war, whatever. But this is a great starting point for NWA to capture more fans and just get a bigger percentage of the market. I liken it to TNA on Spike. Spike, yeah, it's nationally, but it wasn't on some people's radar, but it got it out to the masses, and that's where Impact has grown to where it's at now, where it's head and shoulders above a lot of the indie promotions out there. And really, it's head and shoulders above NWA at this point. So it's a stepping stone for them to move forward with, to kind of get going. This was a fantastic deal that he wrestled up. Now let's keep it going. But how do you keep it going? Got to get the younger talent in there. We talked about this through and through. You have to inject the younger talent and have it be what it can be the best it can be. But that's tough when you're working, and this is no knock on anybody, but like for them, you're the NWA, all the best talent in the world is an Impact. It's in AEW, it's in WWE. You have to work with what you work with. And it's those veteran indie guys that haven't got that shot yet that are really the ones that step up, or the talent that has come, that basically fell through the cracks from the larger companies, and that you can capitalize on. That's why you saw the Cardonas of the world, and to an extension, the Aldises of the world, Kelseys of the world, capitalize on that momentum and kind of pull it forward. This is a prime example of being a little bit of prime real estate to get people in. Watch them make a push now, maybe for some of these free agents that are out there, or just some of the top talent that's out there. They're going to push, because that first show on CW, like every other show, it's going to be fucking awesome, and it's going to have a bang to it. Yeah. So you got to watch them as they develop that.
Second thing I want to bring up, kind of YouTube oriented, and I know this will not be for everybody. I also do like crime shows every once in a while, and it was apparently Crime Week in my head. I love watching people get interrogated. Well, I picked one that said breaking and entering interrogation or something like that. I'll find it in Pro Wrestler was involved in it as well. So I'm like, oh, who is this schmuck that I don't know about that broke into something? Here, it was the douchebag that broke into Sonia's house. They released that.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it apparently has been released, so some of you who have a sick mind like me, Miggy, you're on my goddamn foot, might have already watched it or so. I think it was said a month or two that it's been out there, but this guy is a weirdo. Trust me, I was sitting up and I'm just like, he was in Sonia's house for hours. And I don't want to post it on Can Crushers or anything like that, because one, I don't want to give this douchebag notoriety, and I know we've been talking about it on here for the masses that we have. but it's out there. Jenks, this guy he just kept saying he just wanted to talk to her. He had a bad path in life and wrote her thousands of messages. And if you dig into this stuff, you know everything that he wrote. She never answered them. Just wanted to know why she wouldn't just say, just leave me alone. And then, yeah. But he knows he was caught, and he just says everything. He's like, yep, I was going to do this, and this. Fucking weirdo. And this is where I'll pause. Wrestling fans, give them their personal life.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Don't be this fuck.
Yeah.
No. Let them be. They don't listen. Right. You can be fans to them.
I love I love Wardlow. I'm not going to go over to their house Thanksgiving and say, hey, can I eat turkey with you guys?
Yeah. There's no reason for that. You shouldn't even know where they live, to be honest. And if you do, lose the information. Yep. Don't even fucking deal with it. Shame on you. No, they're not gonna magically be your best friends or
love with
you. No, that's not how the world works. Just, you can be fans. While we're on it, just stop stalking them at fucking airports too. That'd be great. Let them just live their lives and get where they need to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
this was a messed up one. Like, I want to send it to you in your craziness of life if you ever want to sit down. It was like 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm like, this moron.
That's what I never understood about these stalkers or anybody of that nature. Like, if you don't, I don't know you guys' lives. I don't know anybody's lives. But if you don't have a personal connection to them, you have no business being in their circle or being close to them. You can ask for autographs. You can get autographs at special wrestling shows because that's why they're there. Don't be fucking weird there either, but just don't be fucking weird in general with them. Don't stalk them. Don't be over the top with them and all that stuff. They're just normal people trying to do normal things, and they're trying to entertain.
Yeah.
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 Man.
People. That's all I
have. What do you think this dream match is tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't know. He didn't announce it tonight during Rampage.
He didn't. Yeah. I don't know. I saw one made up card that just said, one made up collision thing that said, oh no, but it was Suzuki versus Adam Copeland. And I'm like, I would watch that in a fucking heartbeat. But it was a fake one. It was not made up. But at the same time, I'm like, Suzuki? Yeah. I'd pay to see that. It's not a
match that they're throwing together.
It's not a dream match that I would think of. But at the same time, I'd sit there and like, yeah, I'd fucking watch that. 12-minute beatdown. But
I don't know, because of what we talked about last week of Tony just kind of, and I hate to say this, kind of going off the hinge a little bit recently. That is he just saying, hey, we're doing this to do this, 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 rinse and repeat?
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Like,
bait and switch.
The bait and switch type thing to get you pulled in. And this is what we've seen it with WWE. You see it with a lot of promoters. It's bait and switch, gets you pulled in, and then we're getting Wardlow versus Brian Pillman Jr., who I know is no longer on the roster, but we're getting stuff like that. And it's not what we want to see. It's not the dream match per se. But
Wardlow Archer, since they're both back.
Fucking Archer. Like, I fucking like, I saw Archer was on. I'm like, are you kidding? Who's he going after now? It's going to be fucking Orange Cassidy now. Book it. Because I don't know if they announced it on Rampage. I didn't see the spoilers. But I saw he won. OC's like, well, I'm going to defend the title. And then I'm like, it's going to watch it be fucking Archer. Business. And watch it be fucking Archer now on fucking Battle of the Belt. So, I don't know. If you're Max Caster, his dream match is him and MJF in oil wrestling. And Bones is trying to calm him down on Twitter. So we're going to see what's going on there. But
Collar and elbow, hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Stone and Hooligans have down there. Use our promo code. What is it?
Can Crushers, get yourself 10% off.
You can hear us everywhere. IMDb, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Boxcast, Spotify, yada, 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 and Podurama, which is seamless right now if you sign up, which isn't a long-ass promotion by Podurama, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, they're running it. They are running it right now. Get yourself a lifetime membership. They're 50% off. It's going wild. It's running wild. It's lasting as long as Hulk Hogan Wrestling 400 days a year. So keep at it and keep with it, and you'll get signed up with that streamless service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget we have a WWE affiliate code, as I announced, and I think this is the best way I announced it. I announced it on a spotlight like this. Listen, it will help us no matter what. It does. You guys know what affiliate codes are. We don't lie to you on here. Whatever you buy, we're going to get a percentage back. Okay? So if you're buying something, that's awesome. You know you're going to spend $20 on a Carlito shirt or something. Click our link. Mm-hmm. But also by clicking that link, you may save money.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an affiliate code. It's not like, hey, you can tell your people you save 5 to 10%, or you can upcharge them. It doesn't say upcharge. I'm being an asshole. Whatever you do with this affiliate code, because you're listening to us right now, you're like, oh shit, yeah, my son does want the newest Carlito shirt for Christmas. I'll go buy it as I'm listening to these two idiots talk about wrestling. You could save money. You mightn't. That's not a word.
Mightn't?
Yeah. Might. I did it on purpose. You mightn't, but you would help us no matter what. So that's cool. Use our affiliate code.
I really hope that's in our title this week. We mightn't talk about wrestling. We'll see what happens. But
spell that.
MIGHTN''T. Mightn't.
MIGHTN''T.
Yeah, like couldn't. But with might. Yeah. Mightn't.
Okay. In socials. Facebook, X, Threads, and Instagram. At CanCrusher69.
I saw you left off Threads when you did the Ask Can Crushers post. I laughed at that.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. You were like, just X, Facebook, Instagram, and I was dying when I saw there was no Threads on there. Mark's giving up on Threads.
People have it. Listen, if you want me to be honest about Threads, there's more porn spam on Threads already than I think X has ever had.
I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. I've not been on Threads. I don't need to go on Threads, so
You don't. It is.
So is it the new cesspool of the social media?
You've noticed that I left it off.
Yeah.
Right? And it was maybe by just me being an idiot. I don't go on because anytime I'm inundated by, hey, look at this for $9.99. Do this for $9.99. Here's my OnlyFans page for $24.99. Listen, I'd love to support everybody in the world that I could. And I'm not saying for porn or whatever. I would be broke if I could support everybody that I'd like to. Because you have to pick and choose. I want to know if there's somebody out there that's like, oh, yeah. And I'm not giving any names. So don't think, oh, why didn't Mark mention me? If you had one or if Moochie had one, I'd support you guys, but shit, there's $100 essentially a month.
Gone.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. Nobody wants me on an OnlyFans.
Moochie eating potato chips at the
but no. Essentially eating popcorn. Trivia stale popcorn. Just
You should see these pictures, by the way. We're posing for that.
No, you should not see these pictures. Get that visual out of your head, guys.
And you want to be involved, cancrusher69@gmail.com. Send us messages like people did for this week's Ask Can Crushers.
Call us 814-299 shit.
Get that one over.
6687 because I lost it after. Now I'm thinking about popcorn all over me. Anyways.
I make great popcorn, an aged mild cheddar popcorn this week. White, by the way.
Cool.
Absolutely. I think it was actually called like Good Snacks popcorn or something. Like it was supposed to kind of be healthy for you.
Yeah.
The amount of cheddar that was on this, white cheddar to boot,
Was not.
was.
Well, any popcorn's not.
It's not like eating pork fries.
Without the toppings on it. Popcorn is literally just corn that's popped, right? Dried corn that is popped. When you add the toppings, that's when it becomes unhealthy. I need to get off it, so I'm going to make a joke. Hey, real quick. I know we did our due diligence, but I found this on X, and I have to ask you.
It is Ask Can Crusher, so.
Well, it's not wrestling related. It's actually pretty stoner related, but I want to throw this out at you. There was, give them their shout out, Sickos Committee on Twitter.
Sounds like a legit place, so yeah.
You know, is what it is. But they posted FBS schools ranked by walking distance from the stadium to the nearest Taco Bell. Now, we're not going to go through this entire list, or we can. I can go through the entire list, but there's one school on here that you love in Pitt. Where do you think Pitt ranks between 1 and 14th on this list, walking distance to a Taco Bell?
4.
Close. 3.
Nice! I know there's
miles.
Taco Bell
Yeah.
remotely close.
Yeah, 0.2 miles away from the stadium.
Where? Now I'm racking my brain. It's got to be downtown. It's got to be a makeshift Taco Bell, essentially.
Yeah, I can't think of any, because obviously it's Heinz Field. I'm calling it Heinz Field.
Right.
I don't think to PNC I don't think it's on North Shore anywhere.
It has to be across the bridge in the
downtown city. Yeah.
0.2 miles is a hop, skip, and a jump.
Jump is not that far. Yeah, it's 0.2 of a mile. It's not that far away. But yeah, so Pitt's number 3 on that list.
Which number? Now I need to know number 1 at least.
I'm trying to think of this number 2, but I think I know what it is. All right. Number 1, Tulsa, the Golden Hurricanes. They are 0.02 miles away. Number 2, I believe, is Akron.
Across campus. Is what
across campus. I think number 2 is Akron, 0.06 miles away, so probably on the other end of campus. Pitt, Bama, Notre Dame round out the top 5.
I've been to Notre Dame.
Somewhere, it's only 0.3 miles away.
I think maybe I'm now putting in my head when we go to the entrance. I think there's one as soon as you go into the entrance.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the top 5 is those 5 right there. Others on the list, but top 5. Pitt, number 3.
Pitt, number. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Here comes Al Snow to tell you more about Collar and Elbow. We come back. We're going to rapid fire through the week in wrestling so we can get to Ask Can Crushers. And I probably really mean rapid fire through wrestling because it was a week in wrestling.
Yep. Bang, bang.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Tune in for a tune-up. You're listening to Can Crushers with Amber Nova.
Welcome back to Ask Can Crushers, guys. It is time to talk about professional wrestling of this week. Before, though, I will give Sir Michael Jenks the opportunity to pick. Do I do a Dunkel, a Bach, or a Pilsner? Right now.
What was the Fall Festivus for the rest of us? What was that one?
It was just a lager.
Okay. Let's do a Dunkel.
Okay, now this is actually the one that I wanted to try the most.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is. It's Pretzel Bender Dunkel English.
I've
I said.
heard of that.
It's earthy toffee notes, so I'm actually excited for this one. I'll give you
Toffee
the other
notes
guys.
wait a minute. Toffee notes in a pretzel beer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Earthy with toffee notes. The other one is, the other two, Elkeville Bock, smooth and full body. And then it is called Monroe Street Pilsner, crisp and clean. Like, it's...
Well, that's generic.
Or light.
Yeah, yep. It's the Fall Festivus tree beer without the leaf in it. Without the leaf in it.
Yeah. So, yes, I am excited about this. I'm drinking right out of can. I should have brought a glass in to see the darkness of it, but...
Well, you're a can crusher, so you have to drink out of cans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll save you one. I know it's going to be a month yet, but I'll save you. This is...
I'll tell you what. You save me one of those, I'll save you one of the Apple Fest ones.
I have to twist the arm that hard. No, because if you're going to go ape shit crazy over them tomorrow.
I'm not going to... I will save you one.
Okay.
Trust me, I got enough beer in there to satisfy me till it gets to you.
Oh, they all have 4 stars on it. I'm like, oh, this is their 4-star beer, but this is really fucking good.
Why does it look like a turkey on the side of it?
It's pretzels, you idiot.
Well, it looked like well, I couldn't see the pretzel. It looked like a goddamn turkey on the one side. 5%
alcohol.
And I have my glasses on, guys, so that's how maybe I need to recheck these.
And this is, of all of them, because the other one was 5.6, so this one's 5. The other, the Pilsner's a 5.1, and then the Bock is a 7%, which that surprises me. But still.
Bucks tend to run higher, I think.
Yeah.
For the most part.
They run at about 14 on my beer game.
Did I ever tell you? Okay. I know we're supposed to be talking about this. Is why we go down rabbit hole. This is how we end up on rabbit holes. But I was at a happy hour. This was like that. This had been 7 years ago, something like that. Sir Cody Herrick, myself, and I think Sir Moochie were at a happy hour in Erie, and they had a beer that was 19% alcohol, and they bumped it up a percentage every year that they were in business. So that was just their thing. I cannot remember the exact name of the beer, but I remember the company. It was Hebrew beer with a little apostrophe between he and brew. But it was led by
Hebrew.
Hebrew, yeah. But it was a 20% alcohol, 19-20% beer. We took a sample of it. We did not buy the whole thing because obviously we had to get where we needed to go. We took a sample of it. It tasted like a normal beer. That's how dangerous it was. It wasn't like a great tasting beer, but it was that dangerous where it was like a Yingling or like a very, very much like it was lighter than what you would think it was. Because you get those barrel beers that are like 14-15%, you can taste the fucking alcohol. Yeah, you chew it, taste the rum and whatever else they brewed it in. You taste all of that. You didn't taste that with this.
You know what else I had this week? I'm ashamed to say this because I'm actually not one to push these. I tried the Monster, which now has alcohol in it, which is a bad idea. But of course...
That sounds horrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about 6% alcohol. It's everything that you're supposed to get. You're supposed to get that caffeine rush, and then as the caffeine wears off, the alcohol kicks in. They put peach around it, so that, peach? Yeah, Mark loves peaches. I'm like the peach monster over here. I don't condone them, though.
Yeah.
It's probably a one-and-done thing, because listen, alcohol by itself does its own damage. You're adding other things like monsters and this and that. They're definitely not good for you.
I know there's people out there drink these, and that's fine. You do you. But I never understood the Red Bull and vodka thing.
Red Bull Jaeger.
Yeah. Well, especially the Jaeger one. That was bull. But I will say this, though, and I didn't know what was in it until the following week. One week at trivia, we won, okay? And we're like, let's do a shot just to celebrate. We used to do champagne, but now we're older, so we do shots now, like men.
Distinguished
I don't know. Yeah, distinguished gentlemen. She goes, okay. She goes, what do you want? We go, we don't fucking care. Whatever you give us, right? It's like, okay, I got something for you.
Bad news right there.
Well, she gave us a shot. It was like a cherry vanilla pop type thing. It was just like cherry vanilla. It went down so smooth. It was delicious. I'm like, what the fuck was in this? We didn't get a chance to ask her because she got busy. She was done with us and all that. So the next week I had COVID, obviously. So the guys were there. They asked her what's in it. One of the things they put in it, Red Bull. And you don't taste the Red Bull. You just taste the shot. You taste the liquor and all that. But there's Red Bull in it. And I'm like, first of all, that's fine. Like, I drink Celsius. I have a Celsius every morning. I probably would have never gotten it if I knew there was Red Bull in it, to be honest. But tasted great. Tastes fucking great. Didn't know it was there.
You'll have one more in your life.
I probably will.
Yeah.
Maybe. So
I'm not condoning energy drinks. I'm not, because trust me, there's times I need them in the morning, and it's horrible because I can't wait for a pot of coffee to get made. I don't set the coffee to be made. The coffee would be wasted. I'm not reheating coffee the next day that was brewed 2 days ago, this, that, and the other thing. It's easier for me to stop at Sheetz sometimes, grab a Monster.
yes, sir.
It's just the mixing of it is, it's just
No, it's not.
It's the oil and water, essentially.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the only reason I drink the Celsius is because it tastes like not like fucking it's going to burn you alive or anything like that. Like, it tastes like fruit. Like, there's a grape one that tastes like grape soda, and it's fantastic.
I do love the Celsius, though. That's actually, I grab those a lot. I do. The tropical punch one or there's one fucking fly in here again. It was cold enough that all the flies should be dead down here, but.
Well, my coworker lives in Warren, and she still has wasps coming into her house because they're not fully dormant yet, and there's a hive on her house, and the exterminator's like, well, they're supposed to be dormant, so we can't find them. And kind of just told her, oh, well, too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
This weekend, prior to the pit game, is fall cleaning, the air conditioner's coming out, this, that, and the other thing. No, that's probably half the battle that I'm dealing with, because they're like, holy fuck, there's a crack that I can get in and produce more babies. So that's coming to an end tomorrow. But let's talk about SmackDown. We talked about a lot of SmackDown on the show last week, so we're going to skip over this rather quickly. But, again, I will say, Nick Aldis, because this is right where I'm going with Nick Aldis on this show, nothing against Pierce. Pierce has always been the comic GM or authority. Yeah. Aldis, just the first week, isn't putting up with anybody's shit. Mm. And he just does so much for this roster, I think. Like, I'm so excited that Nick Aldis is on SmackDown.
It's almost like he elevates it a little bit more. He's more of a this is going to sound really British, but distinguished gentleman.
We mightn't be distinguished gentlemen.
Yeah, there we go. There it is.
That's a long fucking title. It's almost as long as the title of the play that I'm in.
We're trying to match that play title, by the way. But he does. I mean, he walked right in. He put Dom in his place, even though the fans were doing that too. And then he interjected himself in the Roman LA Knight Cena whole thing going on. He interjected himself in that. It was perfect to a T. I'm sorry, Cody Rhodes and all of that stuff. I was trying to remember why. I'm like, that didn't sound right. But with Cody Rhodes and Roman, he interjected himself like, okay, stop, stand down, things of that nature. Adam Pearce doesn't do that. Adam Pearce has never done that. He's been the guy off to the side, like, how do I control this chaos type thing. When you have somebody that's willing to put himself right in the line of fire to kind of ease down the tensions of the situation, it was a perfect visual for what's to come and what's being set up to finish the story and da-da-da-da-da. Because at the end of the day, Aldis has now interjected himself in this portion, but he is probably going to be a main player to get us Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40.
Let me stir the pot.
Do it.
Cody and Aldis have had a great match.
Yeah.
At NWA, I believe it was 70.
Yeah.
That's not that long ago. That's forgotten about by wrestling people like us.
Yeah.
Which side could it be on? I'm yet to come. I think I know where I think it's going. But you play into that? You could.
100%. And Triple H is going to. He is going to take that. When we start getting 0 to 60, when we get past Rumble, that's when it's going to become very prevalent very quickly, obviously because Cody might not win the Rumble to get back to Roman. So there's going to be another way. And it's going to be Aldis and Cody is going to be those two egos, if you will be butting heads, and all of that personal history and pride and everything's going to come back to the forefront. We'll play the indie card all day long to push the narrative, and the narrative's going to get pushed big time with this. And that's what makes it, I think, a little more exciting than usual.
I agreed. Carlito's jumped by Bob and the boys. Okay, whatever. I still think there's more to come there. I don't know what is more to come there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. I'm just going to throw Spitfire some stuff out if you want to bring it back around. Pretty Bad Deadly's back to get the win, sneaky win over the Brutes, which they need to. And Jay and Cody essentially defeat Theer and Waller to defend the titles, and then we get Solo in LA for the main event. I mean, it was more because there's a lot of promos built in here, this, that, and the other as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this took us in a different direction than I think we thought it was going, especially with LA Knight really getting interjected. And now, as of today, as of recording day, they're fighting at Crown Jewel or whatever it's called in the coming weeks. Family Jewels, him and Roman are going at it. So it pretty much just streamlined that to be the biggest thing on the market. I didn't think they would go there that quickly, which is obviously telling us they're not giving it to LA Knight that quickly. Yeah. But it's one of those things where maybe it's just Triple H testing the water and giving us a little taste of what we want out of it versus, what's going to actually happen. So I like it. I like where they're going with it. I like how they're taking it there slow and steady. And I also love the inspirational story of Elton Prince and Pretty Deadly. So Elton Strong.
For their tag team champions. And
I hope soon. I just wanted to. I want them to separate the titles.
Yeah.
And then I want that to happen.
Yeah.
I think they need it. The company needs it. They need a strong comedy heel act to get them over the moon in that, because we're using too many singles competitors right now to kind of steer the thing. At least with Kevin and Sammy, it made sense. They were best friends. You could bring them together. Now that they're separated, now we're just plucking and putting people together. Judgment Day is a faction, obviously, now, but it's still, they need to get settled in on the tag teams and let them run with it. And I think they're one of the better ones, more entertaining ones, that they can run with it very quickly.
Agreed. That's all I got on SmackDown. But Kevin Owens is the player to be named later, which shocked us, by the way.
Yeah, I'm very shocked by that, but there must be an element to the story because obviously on Raw, we saw the tension now between, we'll transition right into it with Sammy. There's a lot of tension with Jay between him and Sammy now because Sammy has had to effectively give up his best friend for Jay to have a new start. And that's not sitting well at all.
No, the hug was forced.
Mm-hmm.
That they had after they had the interaction in the ring and Sammy kind of walked away. I thought, well, all right, this is where we're going, but again, this is prior to the main event. He's got titles to worry about, so Sammy's on the back burner.
Yeah. Yep.
Fast forward to the main event. He doesn't have titles to worry about anymore. The
They
hug
gone.
in the middle of the show was more from Jay than Sammy. We're rekindling this.
Yeah, we're going to rekindle this, and this is going to become a singles match to really shoot forward and be a whole singles rivalry around it. I still think they'll have an uneasy partnership when it comes to War Games.
Yep.
But I think see things blow up in the War Games match because I'm going to guess KO will be involved as well, and there's going to be way too much tension and things going on there. And at some point, Cody will be more involved in that kind of aspect of it as well.
Yes. You're reading my mind this week.
You know, I can do that sometimes.
How about, this is stupid, Kevin Patrick in for Cole, because Cole only had off 2 days in 27 years, and Cole's like, nah, I'm going to take days in 3.
Hated it. Absolutely hated it. No, Cole deserves to have a third day off in 27 years. But Cole, man, take another day off. Just relax.
Yeah.
Calm down. You know, you'll come back eventually, and Bailey will be still on your case about things. So just calm it down.
Your Bailey or both Baileys?
Both Baileys at this point. Mine takes inspiration from the actual Bailey, apparently.
A little fortune telling, not fortune telling, shadow telling. What is it? Foreshadowing is the word I was looking for. Foreshadowing. Because the week before, they've been like, oh, Cole hasn't had off. He's off because of the travel, essentially. Because they're going to Saudi Arabia or whatever the hell. They're going over there, and shit just is, piled upon everything. Cole's like, all right, I'm going to take a day for the family. I did that today, by the way.
You took a day for the family?
I did. The family wasn't home, but I took a day.
You know what? As long as you enjoyed it, that's what matters.
I did nothing. I went shopping for beer and snuff. And thought about cutting the grass in the rain. Rico against Shinsuke. Falls count anywhere.
Wait, the actual Rico?
Yeah, Suave.
Okay.
Suave. Ricochet. I just, listen, you know how I feel about him.
I know.
I need Pat McAfee for Shinsuke. And in this match was only because Shinsuke lost to Seth. This whole feud is now over. I don't know.
There's nothing else that needs to come out of this feud. But I completely understand that. And I think it's because, again, it's what you do with somebody.
Yep.
And it's, what have you done for me lately? Pat was the one to hype up Shinsuke, was the one to dance with him, get everything really going, him and Boogs and all that stuff. Nakamura would have been a presence himself had he been treated like a presence, and probably had he won the WWE title at WrestleMania after he won the Rumble. It's one of those things where they took the face value out of Shinsuke, and now Shin's kind of, we bounced him up. Okay, cool. But when you get off that main event Seth feud, it's not there. Ricochet is not where it needs to be right now, and he's getting up there closer, but unfortunately for Shins, he's just kind of falling to that middle of the pack because they've done nothing of substance. The Seth feud was the one thing in the past
18 months
years, that has really panned out and been really exciting for him and really showcased his character. I'm glad he won this match, but he still has a long way to go to be one of those people where you consider him just straight up the main event level again. And that's
going to be
hard to say.
Get him there.
Well, that's true.
But what they have on the hopper.
Yeah. There's not a clear path up, and he's more of a filler contender than he is an actual true contender.
He'll get your fast lanes, your roadblocks, your whatever.
Yeah. And get you some exciting new matchups, but it's never truly that one and done big kind of match.
Know what else did nothing for me? Rhea against Shayna. Because everybody was out. If they're trying to separate from Rousey, sort of, kind of, and are they? Why do they bring her up every week? Because she is, during this week, like 2 days before Raw, I'm retired from MMA, and WWE, everything. And we know a retirement in WWE is 6 months to a year to 5 years or whatever. You can come back. I understand that. Babies may be coming for Rousey, whatever. We'll find out here in the future. But she has essentially said she was retired.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are we still bringing her name up? Like, the way I look at it, there was some maybe bad blood when she left. She kind of threw together a couple matches just to get her contract filled. Am I looking into it too far? It just didn't seem like it was, ta-da, Ronda Rousey's leaving. Oh, my God, let's give her roses. It was like, she's gone. She's gone.
And we're done with her. And let's move on. Yeah, I don't know what. Oh, here's the thing. You have a big name. You might as well name drop her, right? And if it helps further cement Shayna with it, I think that's why they keep bringing it up. Because, I mean, let's be honest, they haven't done anything right by Shayna since she came up as a vampire.
No.
And, like, that silly gimmick alone, she should have beat Becky at 36, but I don't know what happened there. And then we obviously know Becky was pregnant after that. But I think it's more or less she just hasn't hit with any of the main roster fans in that. And honestly, she didn't really hit in NXT. She was just a dominant champion that didn't need to hit because she was made to be dominant. But the goofiness aside has kind of pulled her back down to the ring, so they have to do anything they can. And what's the best way to do that? Name drop the notoriety that put her over the top type thing.
I was thinking
it's forced.
Rousey goes in Hall of Fame this year then.
You think?
Yeah.
It could. Well, that could be because then she's done right out and it's over.
And then in 5 years, she has the Victoria, the Mickie James, the Trish come back, and everybody can be excited. You can forget about her for a while.
Right. And kind of put in the end, and then she's a Hall of Famer, and she's this, and then, yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the championship match first. New tag team champions.
Okay.
Shock and awe. Really, I didn't think they'd pull the trigger this fast.
Well, I didn't think so either, but I guess it makes sense now that you've separated KO. You have to kind of we got to put the pedal back down to the fast. We got to make it fast. We got to do a turnaround. But we talked about this. We knew this title reign was not going to last. But 8 days,
pay-per-view at least. Though.
Yeah, make it to Saudi, and then they change it at Saudi. What, 8 days, I think it was, or whatever the math is, 10 days or whatever the math is, back to Judgment Day? That was hella quick. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted, well, it's probably, obviously it's in the plans, right? But
Roman alluded to it on SmackDown when he was talking to Jimmy, saying, look, your brother's putting bad name or a bad mojo on those titles because he's doing it without you, while being part of the bloodline and with the person that we hate the most.
Right.
So there's something, I'm just not under that rock yet to find it, of where we're getting to.
Well, does that cause tension? I mean, there's already tension there between the tedious alliance of Judgment Day and Bloodline. It causes even more tension because now Jimmy's got to win the tag titles for Roman's sake.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be with Solo.
You would hope.
You would think and hope. So, because you have to reclaim the Bloodline name. So they could be trying to extend this out to get us to a Survivor Series or get us to another pay-per-view where it's Solo and Jimmy versus Jay and Cody, making that work for the tag titles. But when that happens, maybe it's Rumble. Yeah. Maybe Jimmy and Solo get a run. Cody does everything he can to defend Jay, da-da-da-da-da, but eventually it just kind of peters out, and it's like, okay, I got to make a run at Roman now.
This is why you got the blank face.
That's the only rock.
Like, oh, I don't know this chapter.
Yeah, there's nothing to know. I mean, it's what I'm shooting blindly into the dark, to be honest, so I have no idea. But that's it. To me, that's where you got to go, because that's setting up two main matches for Mania at that point. Jimmy and Jay and Cody and Roman, but who knows?
In what should have been the main event. Again, I'm all about this main event being a main event, which I understand. Championship probably should, but they were both championship matches.
Yeah.
New championship, you're going to swing it. Bloodline's a bigger storyline. I understand why they did it. But Gunther and Reed.
They were going for it.
It's on the Crushes is coming up, we told you, months away. With what we had, if it wasn't an action, this could be top 10. I'll put it that way. This match could be top 10. And we don't rate top 10, but still, this gave me everything I wanted. At one point, I wanted them both to win. Yeah. Both of them share the fucking title. I don't care how you're going to do it, because what they did in the ring between two big... This was the best big guy match I've seen in years.
Oh, yeah.
And they fucking gave it away again, though. That's what I'm pissed about. Gunther's matches are just... There you go. It's a
free...
Raw. Quickly.
I think they have to revisit the set Crown Jewel. Like, give them their props, give them 20 minutes, give them time to cook. Bronson can go. This man, he beat Okada back in, July? Whenever he wasn't with the company. He beat Okada.
Yeah. When he was with Impact.
When he was with Impact as Jonah. You knew this guy was special with that. You knew he was special in NXT. You brought him back for a reason. And again, they cooked. If there was going to be one guy for them to give the title off of Gunther to, would not have been upset if it was Bronson.
We wanted to be Gable. We do.
We wanted to be Gable, and it's probably in the cards to be Gable. Yeah. But Bronson, my God in heaven, these two going back and forth, and then it has to end on, I don't know how Gunther got him up in the powerbomb. Could not tell you. And that was pure muscle. It wasn't one of those, you're on the top rope, I can grab you easily and then throw you down. No, it's just Gunther fucking whipping him up.
There was a little bit of help that Reed grabbed his wrist and pulled himself up, but he's a big motherfucker.
Even to get him to a point where he can be in a position to help pull himself up, that's still fucking impressive. Deadlifting 330 at least at that point. Fucking great. They did everything again, but that's why he's the ring general as well. I'm going to give the props to Gunther, because he has those matches with guys you don't think you'll have good matches with. Like Bronson Reed, this should have been super heavyweight versus, he's not really super heavyweight now, but, big guy versus big guy.
Right. Those
tend to kind of lose themselves in the matches, because they're all trying to do test of strength, do this, do that. No, this was, let's cook, let's fight, and let's cook, and let's see what we do. Let's make magic out of it.
And they did.
Yeah.
They really did. Anything else, WWE, you want to
shoot or chat about? No, I don't think I got anything. We know the 5-woman match at Crown Jewel now, although I don't know how, who is it? Zoe got interjected into that now.
Because she ran up and said, hey, you're a bitch.
And now I'm in it. So everybody and their mother's in here now. But I'm wondering if this is a way to give Nia a title shot without giving Nia a title shot too. But it may be, I know it's a way to showcase more women on the show, obviously.
Right.
But I'm wondering if they promised her, hey, we'll give you a title match. You won't win it, but we'll give you a title match if you come back and be a big star. Maybe this is the safest way to do that, to kind of be like, let's get Nia her shot and then kind of push her off to the side type thing.
Not a prediction. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But is this the way that Rhea clearly does not need a title anymore?
She's past the title.
Is this a way that you get the title off of Rhea and Rhea can move on to do other things? Maybe WWE notices that fans like intergender matches.
Yeah.
Her
and Rhea
like each other whatsoever.
Yep. Could happen. I mean, it's
you mixed match tag teams for WWE. You have to, women, men. You don't see any of that. Do they realize the indies are fucking killing it with it? Once in a while, you get men and women in AEW crossing paths.
Yeah.
There's huge money, and listen to Spotlights. We talk about them all the time. There's huge money in intergender matches. It opens up your whole fucking roster then. And you tell me you wouldn't mind seeing Rhea against Seth?
Oh no, I'm not saying I would at all. I'd love it. And to your point though, Rhea has proven she's won matches with men before. Again, it was Tozawa, who is now training phenomenally and is
he looks
one of the
great
best. He's fucking going great. Tozawa for Intercontinental Champion, but that's a different story for a different time. Maybe Rhea is, to your point, past it, and honestly could be the second woman in history to win the Intercontinental Championship. Definitely be in a Rumble match with the men at some point. I can't disagree with you. I think you're accurate on it. Now, I'm not saying she's going to be the one to dethrone Gunther. Maybe she is, who knows, but I'm not saying that. But she's definitely, if there's one woman on the roster that you would pick to go after the men, it's her, 100%. They have built her up so well that she is now a master of what she needs to do. And I dare say, and I might get hated this, but she's kind of above that China level, because remember, China was pushed, but she was in a lot of wonky storylines, So they gave her the Intercontinental title because she could do it and she'd be fine with it, but they didn't do it in a very respectful way most of the time. This is
right. It was very
kind of
storyline.
Exactly. So this is a chance to get Rhea that one next step, and it could happen very easily.
That was my biggest moment of the week. I'm like, WWE is going intergender soon enough.
Yeah. If you had to pick somebody in this match to give the title to, who are you giving it to, though? I'm not saying pick the match right now, but, who's ready for it out of the five? Out of the four women I'm looking at.
Listen, I've never been, and it's not anything else. I've never been a Nia fan. I don't think Zoe's ready. I think the obvious answer is you're going to push Raquel on us.
I think they're already pushing Raquel on us, but I think Shayna, because of the Ronda Rousey talk, and they keep hyping that up, maybe that's another contender for the title as well, because she did beat Ronda Rousey, who's a multi-time women's champion, You're building them up, so
touché.
Maybe it's time to give her the flowers, but we'll see.
Time limit, by the way, is expired.
Yeah,
so
we expired a while ago.
Let's go over to AEW.
I knew it was going to happen.
Well, we tried to have a time limit on talking wrestling so we can get right into Ask Can Crushers. But, yeah, we have AEW yet to cover. Listen, I know he's your newest big fucking sign, but he doesn't have to start every show.
Why not?
Because he doesn't. It's not that I'm getting sick of him. I love Copeland. I do. Dude, sprinkle him out a little bit. Sprinkle.
Yeah. Once a week or something like that. Just kind of plop him where he needs to go. I mean, his promo on Dynamite with Renee was perfectly fine. It did what it needed to do. It did it justice. I would agree with you. I mean, we don't see Sting that often. We see Sting every once in a while. When there's a big pay-per-view build-up, they'll drop him in every week. But, again, he's sprinkled in. Same thing with Copeland. Copeland, though, can cut great promos.
Yeah.
But he also needs to be sprinkled in here because we know what your end result is. It's the match. Because I'm not believing for a second that he's not going to face Jay at any point in time in this whole kit and caboodle thing. Yeah. No way. But it is what it is. They're going to put Edge on us, Adam Copeland on us for the foreseeable future because that's their big name player right now.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree. Collision itself, listen, besides a lot of Copeland stuff, and Perry's going to sit down and look for people. Actually, Andrade might be your first one. Oh, my God. You get Juice against Christopher Daniels. Man, I forgot Christopher Daniels was wrestling. The Dustin promo about wanting the title. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm reading my notes as verbatim. Don't get me wrong. I would love it. There is 0% fucking chance this was Saturday night, going into Wednesday, that I thought Dustin had a chance in hell of winning this to then go on to face MJF to maybe get it. I would love if Dustin would get another run at any title.
Yeah.
He's not there enough. He's doing his Rhodes Academy stuff and getting the next up-and-coming class, which is great, coming along. He was just there because they were in Texas.
Yeah, and they needed a body to do the Battle Royal with.
Sky Blue and Stat. Really liking the hatred of Sky Blue, and she doesn't smile. Her face paint's getting darker. And now Willow's saving her from a hug, essentially. Yeah. You said it weeks ago.
It's going to happen. And we know Battle of the Belts after Wednesday. It's Willow versus Stat. I kind of feel like this might be a title change I'm smelling here coming up. You talked about it. You talked about this should be the title that gets rotated between Sky, Willow, and all of these, Julia, and all these girls, all these women, I should say, not girls, all these women.
You heathen.
I know I am a heathen, but now they have the opportunity. You give it to Willow with Sky's help. Now we're building it one step further. Or maybe we're not. Maybe we're getting back to Julia versus Chris at some point. Because if these...
Listen, have you seen the photos of... I'm going to be Mark. Have you seen the photos of her wedding and everything? Her and Shoddy Johnson and everything? Man, both of them look gorgeous. And they're celebrating their honeymoon and everything. So, good for them. By the way, I'm going to see the Monroe Street Pilsner.
Okay.
Kind of clean before I get to the bar.
That's fair. Clean your palate there. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many possibilities here, but at the end of the day, there's a lot more to the story going on.
There is, and I like it. The Christian and Bryan Danielson match again. No, first of all, why was it no time limit?
I have no idea.
They legit announced that, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's 20 minutes left. So you say 30 minutes or say an hour.
You usually say 60-minute time or TV time remaining or something like that.
There is no time limit. What? Instantly, the next day after play practice, I sit up in my seat and I'm like, wait a minute. Why is this no time limit? What funny business is going to go on in this that there's no time limit?
Yeah.
There's only 15, 20 minutes left in your show. How much longer are you going to run over this, that, and the other? But I know, like, Night of the Skywalkers is coming on next or whatever movie they had. They're not going to cut that movie. And then everybody came out. So it kind of, I'm like, oh, that's why there was no time limit.
It was always going to be shenanigans.
I knew that.
But it makes you excited because you think, oh. I was excited to taste that beer because that look was. There's
definitely not even a leaf in this one.
He wishes he mightn't had that beer. So, oh my God, oh, that was priceless. But at the end of the day, they were never going to give this a clean finish, and it just wasn't going to happen between these two. I can't get over that fate. That was priceless fate. Awesome. That was like when I got hit with all those pumpkins. I think last week was it? It just But
the pumpkins was good.
It was good.
An overabundance of pumpkins can give you that face, though.
Yeah, But
you just have to catch up to it.
Yeah, as soon as you said Pilsner, I'm like, that can go good or bad real quick. And usually it's bad.
It went bad. I'm going to finish it because I have good hope. The Pilsner has buildings on it, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
And the Bock has a fucking goat. So
maybe it's a goat.
Yeah, hopefully it is. All right. Dynamite time. Anything else on Collision you want to talk about, by the way?
No more.
I'm pushing you to get
You're
that.
pushing me? How dare you? All right.
What do you want to talk about on Dynamite? I want to get to Ass Can Crushers.
Hey,
You don't want to talk about the Battle Royal, do you?
No, because we knew what was going to happen. And it was,
3 weeks ago.
We knew what was going to happen 3 weeks ago. They threw Caster in there to just get decked. And to set up the whole Acclaimed and fucking MJF versus Bang Bang Club. I want to give props because we kind of gave props to her a couple weeks ago. Emi Sakura and Hikaru Shida probably stole the show on Dynamite. I thought that was one of the better matches of the night. Loved it. Again, if you haven't seen Emi Sakura's work, this is a prime example of it, and it was a very great match to have on. So I just want to give them their highlights in that. We could talk about Omega Fletcher if you want, but whatever you want to do.
When we get to, we'll do Omega Fletcher because that was good too.
Yeah.
Best match between Archer and Barrett Brown or Wardlow and that guy. Which one? Oh, it was Namath. That's who it was.
Yeah, it was Namath.
It's the same match.
Same match. Archer got a little more screen time because he started at the top of the ramp with the guy and threw him down. Wardlow was in, powerbomb, point to his wrist, leave. I mean, he pushed Shivani. I mean, it did more for Wardlow on Wednesday night than it did for Lance Archer because we know Lance Archer's here for a good cup of coffee, lose to Orange Cassidy again, and then leave and gone.
Well, probably actually, till this Saturday night.
Till this Saturday night, because this is when he shows up for 4 days, and then he's gone for the other 6 months. So, props to Wardlow.
I didn't even care about, and we're getting to Omega and Fletcher. Give me a second. I didn't even care about Adam Cole at Roddy's house this week. Like, it's getting too drawn out now.
Well, yeah, I'm glad they ended it, kind of, for the most part. Also, what the fuck was on that peanut butter and jelly sandwich? What was wrong with that peanut butter first?
Right.
Second, what the hell was the jam that they were using? Does that look like fucking pine nuts and...
Maybe it's Vegemite. Maybe it's, I mean, I've heard Vegemite has a couple different consistencies. But
also, hot ass Vegemite. I know there's people that love Vegemite. That shit is salty as fuck.
Yeah.
No. But... it's getting drawn out. The PB&J sandwich was a stretch thing. I'm glad they're moving on to different aspects of it. I don't know how this Roddy with MJF thing is going to play out. I think that's going to be a whole other can of worms. That's going to be the worst. But
and by the way, Sting's announcing his retirement at Revolution. There is more to come on that. We'll put a pin in that. I don't want to go deep dive into that.
Yeah,
but
pin it.
No, pin it for now. So Omega and Fletcher was, yes. No. I think it was underneath the women's match. It was a great match. But, it's
when it's one of these,
see what Fletcher does.
Yeah.
Nothing against Mark Davis. And I love Aussie Open. But I think it's Fletcher's time.
We've talked about this. This is time for Fletcher. And let's be honest, every time, and nothing, again, I'm not against Mark Davis, he just is the one that gets injured now. You know, Fletcher's stepping up. Fletcher's doing this, doing that, can have these matches with Omega that are very good, can have matches with anybody on the roster and still have a highly fantastic match with them. The kid's almost there. And it's time for him to take that next step forward. And he's only 24 years old, so he's right at that cusp of we're not even in our prime yet. So this is when that Will Ospreay period started happening was right around this time. He was not big, but he had that holy thing with Ricochet, and then he started getting better and started learning more that he has to take it more seriously, not as many flips, take it down a notch. This is when you start building upon that, and he has Ospreay as his mentor of sorts with this, along with Mark Davis. He's got a clear path forward, and it's going to be very, very interesting. This is lucrative. Yes, lucrative is the best way to put that for him in the future, because there's going to be an Ospreay Fletcher match. There's going to be an Omega Fletcher 2 that's burning down the house and could rival anything else.
Danielson Fletcher again. Give it to me.
Exactly. Danielson Fletcher. You name people in AEW, barn burner matches, everything's good. Go to New Japan. You got the Okadas. I don't know if Tanahashi will be around for that big match, but he'll be there. That'd be a legendary figure. But the Okadas, anybody in New Japan you want to name to make a move on and make it right, the Sonatas and that.
Yeah.
It's time to shine. 100%.
I agree. Anything else you want AEW wise?
No, I think I'm good.
You better be. By strong.
Although I need to go to TJ Maxx and get a Cubix's cornea ring. Just the
announcers. Oh my God, that's a big ring. You couldn't get that any smaller if you got it out of the gumball machine.
Oh God, no. That was tiny ass ring. Juice's hands aren't that big, guys.
No.
They don't overshadow. It's not Andre the Giant with a fucking beer can. This is just.
I'm glad he threw it away.
I am too. Just
get rid of that.
Yeah.
But props to Christopher Daniels for laying there for 20 minutes. Just laying there. I'm going to take a nap while you guys do this long ass promo. Good for you.
Sold it. Hey, he sold
did.
it.
He was dead. All right. It's time for us to shine.
Time for hooliganism.
This is where everything goes off kilter. I just read questions, Jenks answers, I rebuttal, we go crazy. We love this. Every couple months we bring Ask Can Crushers around, so take a break. Jenks is warming his hands, I don't know why.
Getting ready. Maybe I'm getting ready for that warm-up. That lead-in, that welcome back.
Oh, your cockles are going to be ready.
My cockles are going to be ready for the lackluster comeback that we're going to have.
We'll find out in about 30 seconds.
Oh, that's another one right there for Jerry Swirls. Ladies and gentlemen, your Golden Girls favorite, the Golden God of professional wrestling, the grandma-loving, middle-aged messiah, Jerry Swirls, is here and is going to want to tell you to tune in to Can Crushers Podcast every single night. You don't want to miss it. There's vulgar, there's some violence, there may be some sexual. I'm just kidding. I won't put that in there. It's all right. Tune in, check it out, etc., etc., etc. And if you don't tune in, I've only got 3 words for you. Suck my ass.
Welcome back, Can Crushers. It is now time where you change the questions just when we think we have the answers. So it is Ask Can Crushers time here. Mark's about to sip on this box, so hopefully it's better than the Pilsner was.
Hell of a lot. All right, you're getting 2 now.
Okay.
And you don't have to save me 2, but you're getting 2. This is So the winners are the Elkinville Bach and the Pretzel Funkinator.
Funkadactyl?
Yeah.
Funkadactyl Dunkel?
Those 2 were great.
Which one's better? Bach or the Dunkel?
I just spilled this one as I set it down.
So not that one.
No, this one's probably the Bach.
Yeah.
I'll give it the Bach. Yeah. Literally, I'm going to, whatever. I'll get it after.
Is it leaking on everything?
No, I'm a fucking idiot. I took a drink and it wasn't all the way back in the can and I set it down and there's like going to be a ring now. Nobody cares about this room but me, but. Alright, it's time for Ask Can Crushers.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's save Mark before we take more beer everywhere.
I always like SMU for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, I do too.
I don't know why. but who came from there that I really...
You talking football?
Yeah. What the fuck would I be talking about?
Well, they had, I think Larry Brown was the basketball coach at SMU for a while, and then there were some presidents I think came from SMU.
Emmanuel Sanders pops into my head. He was a Steeler.
Yeah. Oh, I know who. Yeah, and he was a Bronco for a while. Oh, he was one. Eric Dickerson was one.
That Dickerson.
That was it. It was Dickerson. Yeah.
It was Dickerson.
It was Dickerson. I was looking.
Oh
I
my
pulled
God!
it up.
How did I forget about Eric Dickerson? All right.
Well, you don't think about. I mean, I would
I've
not
thought
have
about
thought
Eric Dickerson in 20 years. Probably.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm in a rabbit hole too, by the way, down here now.
Oh,
there's a top 10 list on NFL.com. Oh, well, fuck you. They put up a fucking advertisement. Okay, anyways. Ask Can Crushers. That's what we're here for, not for me to look up fucking stupid
people from
SMU.
All right, this first one comes from Bryce from Akron, Ohio. I love this one. Do you think AEW/WWE steals gimmicks from indie wrestlers or the other way around?
Both.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Blue Kane's a perfect example of that, or now whatever he is now. The Blue K, Big Blue K, or whatever he's going by now. But I mean, Axum's probably a good example of that. Recently, I can't remember exactly who the indie star was that Axum pretty much a little bit copied from. But I think some people will do it in an inspiration type of way. And then some people just straight up steal it. It depends on the person, the personality, and what they're trying to accomplish with it. If you look at Cardona, he's stealing Macho King straight up. But that's him celebrating that character. He does it in a way that it's more of a, yes, it's a parody. Yes, it's Matt Cardona saying he's the king of the indies. But he does it in a way that's very respectful of it kind of thing.
My big one, let me jump on you real quick,
was
when Ali was coming out with the lights on his vest.
Yeah.
And, DJ Z, Walking Wild, I'm not going to give his real name out, Zima Ion, was doing that on the indies years ago.
Yeah. He
did it when he was in, so maybe they asked DJ Z, hey, you're now part of Legado del Fantasma. You're not coming out with this anymore. Do you care if we transition this over to Ali or anything? But it was his thing way before that whole mask and the light and everything. So, yes, I'm going to answer both is the correct answer.
Yeah,
because they steal this way. Look at. And I'm not throwing any indie person under, but look at indie people. They take some type of, as you said, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I ask them all on Can Crusher Spotlight, who have you stole something from? Because wrestling is beg, borrow, steal, take inspiration from this person, that person, this person. You put it together.
Music industry, you take what you like and you improve upon it type thing.
It is, and this isn't, I hope this isn't why you sent it. The whole Lacey Evans, Sergeant Slaughter thing, there's moves that you should ask somebody for.
Yeah.
That have made the move or something if you can get to that person. If not, you kind of, the whole Eddie Guerrero, the triple suplexes, only Eddie does it.
Yeah.
So now, essentially, I don't know all indies, but Latinos do it now.
Right.
Andrade does it.
Stereotypical. Yeah.
So, great way to start. Go ahead.
Nope, just lost that point because I was going to make a comment about people saying moves and it went out my head. So we'll just go on. We'll move on.
But yeah, both. And sometimes I think it's in my real, not saying being completely involved in the wrestling, but I think it's if you can get a hold of wrestler X because you're wrestler Z. Hey, do you care if I steal kind of a little bit of inspiration?
Yeah.
Boots. Sometimes you just fucking steal it.
Sometimes you do. And my example that I was thinking of is when Austin Theory was still doing the cutter of sorts. As his finisher, he asked Randy Orton when he saw him, can I do the cutter? It was nothing like the RKO. It just happened to be a cutter, so he was trying to be respectful in that regard. If you can do it, great, be respectful. But to your point, some people just steal it because it makes sense. It's what they do. I mean, the whole Kenta thing with CM Punk in the go to sleep.
Yeah.
Kenta was doing that long before Punk started doing it for WWE and probably in the indie shows beforehand. There's a lot of hostility there because you take what you see from overseas, and because they're overseas, and especially in 2000s, New Japan's not as prevalent in the Americas at that point. You know of it, and if you're deep involved in wrestling, you will go there and you can follow it.
Trading 6 months later.
Later, exactly. So you're not seeing everything live and in person and all of that stuff. So that's how you start getting those things. But I think if you're doing it in a place of respect, it kind of slips under the radar. But if you're not and you're just blatantly stealing it, you don't care, you're just being reckless and you're being an asshole about it,
then
and talking, you're just being a douche about it, right? So to our point, it depends on how they're going to use it.
Nature Boy Ric Flair, Nature Boy Buddy Landel, both. I'm not saying mega stars on Buddy Landel. To me, he was. Some people are like, I don't even know fucking who that was. But what he did in AWA as Nature Boy Buddy Landel was really cool. And then he came to NWA, and him and Rick were kind of in there together a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just different plays. So, yeah. But great question. It really was,
yeah,
Bryce.
Very great question.
From Akron.
Akron? Yeah, the Zips.
Okay. And they're what the fuck is their Rubber Ducks?
And the Rubber Ducks, yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you were there, but you were there for the bananas, not for the Rubber Ducks.
No, I went there to see the Rubber Ducks as well.
Okay, fair enough.
We have a family picture with the Ducks. That was one of the 3-hour rain delays.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I wasn't sure if it was with the Arrows.
Definitely was not with the Arrows.
Yeah,
They changed essentially a year after I left Erie. They became the Rubber Ducks, right?
Yeah, it was a year or two, maybe. Yeah, it was sometime.
Definitely did go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ethan was much older, nonetheless. I'm going to read her name afterwards because this is really long. Hi, guys. Love the show. My question focuses on the women. We all saw the sign, Book Women Better, a while ago. Yes, we have. When AEW started building the younger women as a threat, I'm reading this stupid. Hi, guys. Love the show. My question focuses on the women. I'm sorry, Lori. We all saw the sign, Book Better Women Matches, a while ago. When will AEW start building the women better as a threat? Only established names have been champions. We need that surprise to help them out. Saraya, Tony, Britt, Sheeta can't keep winning the titles, and I completely agree with Mark. Julia should have won the TBS championship. Lori from Kentucky. Lori, I botched your question, but we get it. Thank you for being on my side on Julia winning the TBS championship. I do understand you got married, but it could have been off TV for 2 weeks. It would have been fine. But the meat of this question, Sir Michael Jenks, is look at their champions. And I completely agree. It was Britt. It was Rio, Britt, Tony, Sheeta,
Nyla. Yeah.
Yeah. Established names.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we'll throw Julia in because we're gonna pick on her because we love her. Surprises. Oh, Thunder Rosa as well. But well established, more so than some of the other ones. Just to get that crazy victory over anybody. And I know she's focusing on the heavyweight championship. She brings up the TBS championship as well in this question. But just a surprise victory once in a while. What do you say?
I would agree wholeheartedly. I mean, AEW has to get to a point where they are comfortable pushing the younger talent. because the older talent's not going to be there. And yes, I get it. A lot of these women are like 27, 28, 30 years old, and they're the main event people. But you have to, at some point, expand out from them. So if I'm going to see, Britt running with the title, I want to see maybe a Julia, maybe a Willow taking a crack and kind of getting so close to getting it and putting themselves over, getting themselves over the top. We talked about Athena being, she's an established star, but she is not showcased at all except for ROH.
And I hate to say
she's not, but she should be. And she could be a perfect example of one of those women that gets elevated up. Now, you could argue with me, Lori, till we're blue in the face that Athena's established, but not in AEW. She hasn't been established there. And I would almost argue with and say this point. Women like Hikaru Shida and Riho were established in New Japan, but they're young enough and they weren't established in WWE when they won the title. And with Shida, I think they're in AEW, sorry. But with Shida, I think it's more or less, Rio's here to just be that person. She shows up once in a while, she'll be around. I think with Shida, it could be very well that they're coming to the end of contracts with her and she's like, I want to go back home. So make the most out of me now and get me built up so I can kind of just go on my dusty trail type thing. But with like people like Britt, Tony, Jamie, when she comes back, Jamie was probably her closest thing to not an established star when she got pushed to the top. And to be honest, Tony had fallen far from established and wasn't really established in WWE at all as a women's champion.
She was getting pies in the face.
Just getting pies in the face and doing shit like that. So now that they've established her, I think that's going to see them as the core for the women's division over the next 5 to 10 years, depending on how their lives change and how they want to take, what paths they want to take in life. But I do see your point, and I think you're looking at this renaissance with the Chris's of the world and the
Billy Starks.
The Billy Starks, and this minion training with Athena and Billy Starks is getting Billy Starks more screen time to build that foundation so that she can be the main event player. I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Starks is the one that takes that title off of Athena here by end of year or then the first pay-per-view of the new year for ROH, right? They're putting in the motion, the pieces in the motion to start moving those things forward. But to your point, I don't think we're going to have Saraya around that much longer. I don't think we're going to have those women that truly are established. Even Ruby at this point, I think is more or less, I'm here to be the mentor to kind of, and I'd love Ruby to get her flowers, but
I would too.
I don't know if she ever will, just the way they build up things. But I do agree with your point. I just think, don't forget, the core of AEW right now is probably going to get centered for the next 5 to 7 years around Britt, Hayter, and Toni Storm. That's their big core women.
You said, and I like this, that Saraya is probably not long in the tooth, essentially.
Yeah.
I think she's around.
Right.
I think she transitions into something that she stays with AEW, but she might be the bad sense for me, but it just pops in my head, so I gotta get rid of it. The Undertaker, that she gets a specialty match here, there. And I know she's only wrestling maybe a little bit more now. Yeah. Really, but she was once every month when she did do her big comeback, and now it's maybe twice a month, possibly 3 times a month, whatever. But she's gonna get pushed farther back a little bit too. I wouldn't be surprised when Hayter comes back, instantly title gets back on her, and then we kind of refocus, because I think it was way too hot of her and Britt just to be dropped. They could bring that instantly back, and everybody's like, oh shit. But I agree, Lori, and I will wave your flag as you're waving my flag. I think that TBS title, and Jenks made reference to it last segment, Willow's a big player. That's somebody we're going to look to, possibly as you guys are listening it or listening to it tomorrow on Monday or to Sunday or whatever. Maybe she defeated Stat. And to me, that's good. I will always say Julia should have, just because I love Julia. But at least Willow's the right direction. Stat, I think, is now in that main event, is in that heavyweight championship caliber matches and everything. And her and Tony would put on a great match. Her and Britt would, you've seen those. But now give them time, as you like to say, to cook.
Yeah.
Because they weren't getting cooking time.
No, they weren't.
No slap on. That's just us being complete assholes using Cook way overboard before anybody fucking says anything about women. Because I always think about that real quick. That's how it's meant.
Right. I'll go with this, and I should have probably just made this argument when I had my time, was the 4 pillars. I named 3 of them. That's the 4th. Those are your 4 pillars of support for the next 5 to 7 years, because they're the ones that are more established. They were there from the beginning. Well, Hayter came in a little bit later, but they're the ones that get you where you need to get to, and so did Tony Storm. I already have a path back to Hayter right now. Let
me just say, don't forget, Rose is back at any point.
Yeah, exactly. Rose is round somewhere, and she could be very well into the mix. She could be into the mix tonight, as you're listening to it now. She could be well into the mix of, well, Willow lost, and now Thunder's in the mix for the TBS just to get that off a Stat or something like that. I think the path back to Jamie runs through Tony again and gets it back to Jamie for the new year at Revolution. I think that's
essential.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think Sheeta's 1 month again and off, loses a full gear to Tony. Tony gives it back to, because I think Tony, we're doing too much with these silent movies now that they want Tony to be the big star aspect of it. So I think she's going to be the next in line for it, probably in the next couple months.
Lori, great question. I'm glad you're on the same page as us. I love it. By the way, I have 2 dogs, everybody knows. They went to the groomers this week. And Miggy, when he gets a haircut or doesn't have a haircut, he always looks like the same dog. He's a golden retriever, a fat golden retriever, and I will tell him that to his face. He looks like the same dog. Max, Australian Shepherd mix, this, that, and the other thing, when he has hair, he looks like Kramer from Seinfeld. It's just fucking all over the place. Well, he looks beautiful now. Like, he's a distinguished young man. He's slicked back. I forget that it's our same dog. Like, he's just that much different. He's annoyed with me right now, but because they got a treat during our break, and now he wants more. But I digress. Lori, again, great question. Lori's from Kentucky, by the way. Oh, God. What's up? Can Crushers. When was the last time you heard that?
It's been a long ass fucking time, but what's up?
With the National Treasure Nick Aldis now running SmackDown, when does he fight Roman? My thoughts are Rumble. Carlos from the Nation. So Carlos has been around for a while, especially since he's bringing us what's up.
Yeah.
No, not that fast.
I think this is slow, Bill. I think it's a year out.
I don't even know if it's Roman.
I was going to say, I think it's a year out, and it's probably Cody.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, you want me
reference to the what the hell was it?
NWA kind of 70. You want to? You put a gun to my head. I'll say SummerSlam next year. Aldis Cody.
I'm not going to put a gun to your head, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm like, if you want to date, SummerSlam.
That's a big match.
It is a big match. And I think it will be treated as such once it gets there.
Yeah.
Because watch over the next couple months, they will build up Aldis as he's coming to the ring or as he's making announcements or him just talking backstage. He's going to come off very egotistical.
I think he gets a big to-do. Something happens at WrestleMania with him.
I agree. And that'll help catapult it. These first initial months, we're going to get the resume building, character build, the groundwork, the foundation for him, and then we'll build off of that.
Yeah. Rumble, Carlos, we're not shitting on you. We are. We love you. Thank you for always being part of the nation. Because we know when you're part of the nation, everybody says the nation. That's cool. That's way too soon, though. That's legit 3 months. And I know WWE hotlined some of their storylines, but
I think we're out of that, though. I think we're out of that phase with WWE, but to your point, it has happened in the past.
Can I say, though, that I think some people in WWE don't know who all this is?
Oh, 100%. A lot of the fan base doesn't, so that's why they need to take the first several months up to Mania, kind of build him for what they need to do. Mania's the turning point. Whether it's he makes a decision to ban Bloodline from ringside, ban everybody from ringside, whatever it is, he will make the step to push forward whatever. He's going to be the catalyst for the WrestleMania main event, I think.
He's going to be a big, and I think the final chapter of the story for Cody is not yet like really written.
No. Yeah.
Because all this has been on the books of WWE for what, maybe a month, essentially, kind of producing anything. They were kind of feeling him out, seeing what he wanted to do, how long he wanted to linger around. Will AEW come knocking? Will he trickle back over? But his wife retired, so he's not going to go back to Impact. Is he going to go overseas? Well, he says, no, fuck it. I'll stay here and let's see what you can do. So they may rewrite something. They may do this. They may do that. I will always say this, and it always comes up probably during Ask Can Crushers. I love Stephanie McMahon, but when she says, hey, we know what we're going to do a year out, I will always throw Steph under the bus for that you can't. You can't, because
look at LA Knight.
Yeah.
That is one you couldn't predict a year out. You've had him as maximum male model. 6 months into that, he was one of your hottest stars, and now he's white hot running after the world title. It was just a year ago. He was running around with Mason Mansour, or however you pronounce his
right
catwalk model name. But let's look at it. You cannot predict a year out. You can't predict it for injuries. You can't predict what the crowd wants. That was part of the problem we're not even going to get into this conversation about back in 2013-14 with Daniel Bryan. You cannot predict. And if you try to force your prediction, if you try to force what you want, you're going to make the opposite happen even faster.
Yep. Completely agree. Great question, Carlos.
Yep.
Let it cook. It'll happen. We just don't think it's going to be against Roman.
No.
Listen, when Roman loses this, we don't see Roman for a lengthy, I'm talking lengthy amount of time.
I think Roman's done for a year, at least.
That's my length.
Yeah.
Take that. Moving on. Dylan from nowhere says, please tell me KO will finally get his title run from signing last year. What do you guys think? If they put him back over on Raw? Yes.
Yes, or he doesn't get it until Cody's reign's done.
Which Cody's reign isn't going to be as long as Roman's, but it's not going to be 5 fucking seconds.
It's going to be a considerable amount of months. But I think KO would be the best bet to take it off of him, because you've already built in a story of you fucking shift me to SmackDown away from my friend for Jey Uso for that whole scenario. You fucking did that to me. So now that hostility's built in there. He's already been pissed off about it. He could be, if he's Cody's first opponent, then it's done. It's dead in the water. He's not getting the title at that point. But I think there's options for him to get it, obviously.
I'm going to put it the other way. Once this is done with whatever KO is doing now, KO drops to doing stupid shit again for a little bit, so we forget
about him.
Because me and you just said Nick Aldis is SummerSlam next year. That's putting KO right around this time next year. essentially. Do I think he gets? Yes, in my heart of hearts, I think he gets a nice title run at some point. I just don't know if it's within the next year again.
Yeah. Because he's not going to defeat Cody 3 months into his title reign. That's just...
No.
That's not how you complete the story. At that point, you have to give him the title run, give him his flowers for 7-8 months, and then worry about getting the title off of him.
That next guy, I don't know, whoever that next guy might be.
Whoever it is it all this? And we could be completely off with the all this match at SummerSlam, and maybe it is KO, and maybe that is when he drops the title. But the but's there.
Yeah.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda type thing.
All right, so this one was text to me. Wasn't sent via email.
Oh.
So you know that it's somebody in my inner circle.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me say. But I did put it in the whole notes, in the show notes, essentially. Not the show notes that you guys see, but the show notes that I read. So it's from Donnie Bambino, our boy. I want to know both of your recommendations for best matches from the last 4 years. Spoiler. I had to tell Jenks about this because this is something we just can't follow. So this one was, okay, Donnie sent this. I got to send it over to Jenks so he knows ahead of time. Because if I throw you that right now, what would you tell me? Go fuck yourself.
I would have forgot every fucking match. I would have pulled 3 matches out of my ass and went back and looked at it and said I would have named 2 other ones that were better than, you know what I mean? And then I would have told you to go fuck yourself. Or you'd be doing
the research right now.
Yeah, I'd be trying to research it as fast as I could and try to stall as long as possible. But I appreciate you giving me the heads up.
You're welcome.
Right now. Because you've thrown that Mount Rushmore question at me before without warning, and I'm like, fuck, I have no idea who I'd pull out of my ass with this. Like, cause
that's when I knew, oh shit, I should probably give them some heads up on some of these, or like something like this.
Yeah. And I love this question. Now let me ask you this. How many did you limit yourself to? Because there wasn't a limit of matches. I pulled in a pool that I thoroughly enjoyed over the past 4 years. And spoilers, none of them are in 2023 because I'm not giving you guys that until the Crush days. Yeah. Yeah.
We went 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of them have like 5 matches. Some of them, 2022 probably has the most that I pulled from. So, okay. But I will say this. You could have listened just to each Crush Award because we fucking give you the match of the year. Probably most of the time we've given you 3 that we like. And we've had a bunch of people, Donnie Bambino, of us talking about them. So, will I say any of these are my match of the year? I believe I will say 2 on this list of that I have. I believe I know I have 2, maybe 3 that I had in my match of the year. But this week, I went back and I kind of just surfaced matches that I really enjoyed. That I put it this way. If each year a new wrestling fan in 2019 said, at the beginning of 2020, they said, hey, I want to get into this wrestling. Show me matches of what I like. Why I should like wrestling. That's the way I took this question.
That was exactly the way I looked at it. Now, I didn't go back to the Crushies the past couple of years.
I didn't listen to them either. Fuck that.
Well, yeah, I know. But I looked at it from the lens of, to your point, first time watching wrestling, what am I recommending to a person so that they understand it? And when you think about Austin and Brett at WrestleMania 13, I'm not going to go where you think I am. The submission match, there's too many layers to that for a wrestling fan to fully comprehend, right? For a non-wrestling fan to fully comprehend. So there's a lot playing into that. Yes, there's stories, elements, but for us, we're sitting there like, oh my God, okay, so Brett and Steve from this era, the blood adds another element to it, so we understand the color can enhance that. We're deciphering it. You know what I mean? straight up, I went from the lens of, okay, I was a wrestling fan when I watched these. I remember these matches, and they still fucking stick with me. And I think anybody could kind of walk through and say, totally understand it.
Okay.
Totally get it.
How many do you have per year?
One 2019, one 2020, 2021 has a lot of mine, and then I have 2 for 2022.
Okay. All right. Well, until one of us runs out, we'll go back and forth. So I'll go. If you only have 1 in 2019, I'll start.
Yeah.
Then let you go. And
yeah.
In no particular order, by the way. This is just because I researched AEW, I searched NWA, I searched up WWE, I searched up da-da-da-da. So in no particular order, but they're just there. Becky and Sasha in Hell in the Cell in 2019. We're in 2019 right now.
Yeah.
Becky and Sasha in Hell in a Cell. I know it's kind of like the final thing that they did, but I think there's enough meat and potatoes that are like, why did this start? That they'd want to go back and watch.
Yeah, I took that liberty with one later on the list, and you probably already know, you probably could guess which one it is. But I agree. That one is a good one, and I toyed with that on my list, and I'm like, Mark might have it, but I kind of backed off of it. All right. Do you have more in 2019?
I do.
You want to just go through yours, and then I'll add mine after it? Yeah.
Right. The Men's Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
For just the mass chaos in 2019 that happened. If you want to see a train wreck of a match, which was great, that was something you're like, why are 90 fucking people wrestling in this whatever ass cage? I don't understand that. Because I want to explain to people
what it is, what's going on. Yeah.
One that I was at, and I think I did give it my crushie in 2019, Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll at the Crockett Cup for the NWA Championship.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Mox and Omega lights out match.
I stayed away from that one because I'm like, that could scare people away. That's a make or break. If you know your audience, you put that in there. Like, that's the one where you're like, they'll appreciate this fucking mass chaos of what this thing is. And that's kind of where I'm like, yeah, I would agree with that one. Didn't have it on my list because I was like, there's certain people you show that to right out the gate and they'll be like, oh, I'm fucking all in now. And they're going for it. But, yeah.
And then my last one that I put a star by because I think actually this was my Crushie Award, truthfully. Cody Dustin at Double or Nothing. I mean, that's history. That's where you have to explain dad, brothers, this, that. Like, this is, you're showing them one match and then you have to write a report for them. But that match, everything happened in that match.
You have to write a report for them, but you can describe it as brother versus brother. And that's why it's my one for 2019, because that match itself, it's brother versus brother. They wanted to have this match. That's how you lay it out, right? And then you let everything that transpires between everything that happens in the match to the ending where Cody asks Dustin to be his brother in a match against the Young Bucks. It's beautiful, very simplistic storytelling, and then you can go into, okay, they're brothers, their dad was Dusty Rhodes, he was this guy, he was the son of a plumber, and you go down the line. But I think that is such an easily best story told that could have been in 2019 for a lot of matches.
Agreed. So that's yours.
That was mine. That was my one and only. But like I said, I toyed with Becky and Sasha, and Omega and.
Oh yeah, if you're watching
train wreck spectacle, and that was the other thing too. I'm like playing in my mind. Do I want to include spectacle matches, or do I just want to include just matches that I think would be good for those first time out? If I include spectacle matches, we include every Anarchy in the Arena and every Stadium Stampede, because I would include all of those in there. But
I had to limit it.
Well, you did have to limit it, and I appreciate it. And I will guarantee you I have one that we'll circle back on Lights Out in one of the years. That I know is on your list.
2020. We're good on 2020?
I have one on 2020.
Let me go first again.
All right.
FTR Bucks Full Gear.
Yeah.
There's Best Friends for Santana Ortiz. Parking lot.
Parking lot for all. Yeah.
Sasha versus Bayley, Hell in a Cell.
I wasn't a fan of that one.
I was.
I get that, and I think a lot of people were. I think I'm the minority in that it didn't hit the way I thought it would hit.
And then this one's NXT. Cole, Finn, Ciampa, and Gargano for the title.
That's a good one. That's
my 2020.
My 2020 is one, and it's big meaty men slapping meat, and it happened in Portland. It's Keith Lee and Dijakovic. That match was just beautiful in all aspects and showcased why both of those men should have been main event players.
Yeah.
And that's how I summed it up in 2020 with that match.
Agreed. Yeah. 2021.
I got a lot, so we good.
You got a lot? All right. Let me just do mine, and then we'll do yours, and we'll just talk.
All right.
Danielson, Omega, Danielson, Hangman, both of them on the list for the technicality-wise.
Mine, yeah. Those are two mine.
Seth and Edge, a crown jewel.
Yeah, that was good.
Sasha and Bianca at Mania for the historical aspects. But the match was great itself, but the historical aspects.
Right.
And a match that I will talk about until my fucking sons is Britt and Thunder Rosa in the Lights Out match.
Yeah.
And that, I believe, was my match of the year that year.
I think it was, because I had just joined. I think that was your match of the year. I remember that. I remember that being it. All right. Paige and Danielson, Winter's Coming, that 60-minute draw, or 30-minute draw, whatever it was, that was phenomenal. So I had that one as well. Obviously, I had Omega Danielson. The match itself, perfect professional wrestling, but all you need to tell the story for new wrestling fans, for them to understand why professional wrestling is so beautiful and what they need to know, is the opening bell and 2 minutes after that, because it's bell rings, JR, here we go, let's get after this thing, and everybody's on their seat, losing it.
Yep.
Kenny's trying to no-sell. Danielson's smiling ear to ear because they love it. That's all you need to show.
It doesn't even need to be the match.
It doesn't even need to be a match. It was just that. People will understand it instantly. Thunder, Britt, obviously, Lights Out. Now, I also had Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks in the Cage 2021. I could not get past that. I know I said about Austin and the history and all that stuff. We can ignore it. There's layers here, but you cannot get past how I watched that.
I knew you were putting this one on. That's why I didn't put it on.
I had to put it on because I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah.
I could never get it out of my head how good that match went. And that speaks to how good these two teams, how much chemistry they have when they do it. My last one is my only other one from NXT. And it's Walter versus Dragunov 2 in 2019. When Dragunov ended the reign of Walter Gunther now. But that was such an amazing fucking match. And I wanted to pull in Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates so bad, but it was before the time frame we had. So, but this match itself, I remembered for days. I rewatched it for days. It was like Bayley and Sasha again in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Such a great match. And Dragunov is doing it so much more in NXT now with Mello and him. Dragunov is a special player. Yeah. And I can't wait till he gets to the main roster and we get him and Gunther again, because it's going to be fucking spectacular.
I want him to drop the title like yesterday to get to that.
I do too. Yep. Just end it now. Get on your way. Yep.
2022, I have 8, by the way.
8? I have 2. I narrowed it down to 2 because
I went for fucking spectacular in 2022. Spectacles.
Oh, you went for spectacles. My line was non-spectacles with a couple exceptions to get us there. But what are your 8?
No, you go 2 because I'm sure one of your 2 is going to cross off at least one of mine.
Okay. Then I'll go with the one that I think is going to cross it off. Cody versus Seth in Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
2022, because that was, yes, there was months of build up to that, but that was spot on. The peck, everything about that match, beautifully done. That was probably Cody's best match to date in the company.
Yes.
I might have a second one on your list because I went purely WWE on this one, and it's Gunther Sheamus at Clash of the Castle.
I have that
2022. I had to put that on there. That was that's just 2 men fucking each other up. That's all that was. It was brutal, but it was a beautiful story told. So that was the 2 I went with. So now I'm interested in the other 6 spectacles you got going on over there.
FTR Bucks again.
Right.
Orange and Ospreay at Forbidden Door.
Oh yeah, that's Forgotten Gem.
Acclaimed and Swerve in Your Glory when they should have won the titles at All Out, and they should have pulled. We said it for fucking months. They should have pulled the Swerve, no disrespect, at All Out and had them win the titles, not a month and a half later.
That's why I didn't put it on my list. Was because they did. I know, but I'm just saying. Because they didn't pull the title, they didn't. To me, the story wasn't told right.
Good.
It was so good. It was so great. It was a great tag team match, yes, but it tainted it for me. I don't know.
Becca Bianca at Mania. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
I did. The next 2 are blood and guts. Completely blood and guts. The Briscoes against FTR in the dog collar match.
Yep.
Which then leads to MJF and Punk in their dog collar match. Listen, I have a lot of explaining to do to people on my lists. Like they get you give them, this is wrestling. This
is the art. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, look at this fucking train wreck. Wouldn't you want to watch this and listen to Can Crushers every week? This is it. So I play both because I do give a couple technical ones throughout everything, but a lot is very much, if you love gore, I gotcha.
What I will say this, you notice I didn't put any FTR matches on here. Because I would agree, FTR and the Bucks, fantastic. I think FTR and the Briscoes, 2 out of 3 falls would probably get in there. I couldn't pick between either the 3, to be honest, but that's just the way it is, and I didn't want to cop out and say I got 3 FTR Briscoe matches on here. But for me, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say this. My favorite Revival match, FTR match of all time is DIY FTR in Toronto. Love that match. Also them in Alpha Academy, but that was way before the time limit. So it's just one of those things where I'm sitting there like, love FTR, I love Revival, but I would have to take it back to show them that. But again, it's because I'm being more pure with it, I guess, if you will.
Unlike me.
Hey, I love your list. I would watch your list all the time.
Right? Donnie, thank you for texting us that. Thank you for texting us that.
I don't want to know what else was in that text message now.
None of your business. What's up, my dudes? Keegan from St. Louis wants to know, when does Solo get that big win to make him an actual factor in the bloodline? He's just a lackey right now. I agreed.
I can't disagree with that whatsoever. I honestly don't think he gets a big win until next year after Roman loses. Because then it's the storyline to push him to the head of the table. That's how you do the bloodline at that point.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's Roman and Solo SummerSlam. I keep picking SummerSlam, but that's 6 months worth of build.
For just nothing. Like, nobody has a title. They're just fighting for...
They're just head of the table.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, goddamn it, if we don't get the elders at some point, and we love the Bloodline. We have said that this is probably the best faction
of all time
ever.
Yeah.
But if we don't get the elders moving somebody, have it be if The Rock would do this, if it's going to be Solo leading this for years to come. Like the Bloodline has meat for years, essentially. It's been 3.5 essentially. But you can make the next person. I will always say we need an elder of some sort. And I know there are some health issues going on. I understand that. But any elder of the Bloodline moves this along, it is a major tick up again in the whole Bloodline story.
Yes. And it can be the catalyst for the story. And
catalyst is a better word than what I was using. So yes.
And that's where you get it, SmackDown after Mania, where they come out and say, you've lost the title, maybe you're losing a step, you're trying to, and then it's a game plan, and it's playing in Roman's head, and you're playing with it more and more and more, to where it finally gets to the point where Solo's the heir apparent, but Roman's not willing to let it go. So to Mark's point, there's many more years of this, and Solo's going to get there eventually, because at some point Roman's got to walk away. And so Roman's going to.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time.
So Keegan, SummerSlam next year is what we're saying.
Yeah. Even though we said Roman was going to be off for a year. But don't worry about that. Just forget about that. That's fake news. That was earlier.
That's back.
That's when full-on God mode comes back. He's going to go into a slump. He's going to hit deity mode for a little bit, and then he'll get back to God mode.
Sure. Hey guys, I really love the show. Thanks for all the great interviews with indie stars that I can watch become superstars over the years. My question is actually stolen right from Mark's Spotlights. Oh shit. Oh, I don't know what I ask on Spotlights. If you could get rid of one thing in professional wrestling, what would you get rid of? Tyler from NC. Go Heels. I'm a Heels fan now. They've beaten up on Pitt enough. I really like May, the quarterback. Like, I want to see great shit. There's something about North Carolina that I like.
Right.
Football team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like them. I like them over Duke, but that's just why. How'd you watch it?
He's from North Carolina. That's just...
Could have said North Carolina or North Kakalaki, one of the two.
Are you from Charlotte, Tyler? You don't need to give me that, but you can give me your address. No, I'm kidding. All right. So wow. He wants to know what we would get rid of wrestling, because I ask this every week. And I know what he means, because I always throw the stigmas of, like, the old boys club, or being inclusive, or egos, or anything like that. And I always, I agree 95% of the time on the Spotlights with him, saying, oh yeah, that's a great one. I'll go first, and I would say inclusive. And it's because it's closer to home, and I know there's still a stigma around, and I'm going to throw names out, like Nyla Rose and Sonny Kiss, and dude, they're fucking people, and they just want to wrestle. Let them go. I don't give two shits anymore. It's that time frame that, listen, let them wrestle. Nyla, Sonny, I could name a ton on the indies that would entertain the shit more so than Otis doing the worm. So, inclusivity. That's a word?
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. Think about this, to your point, it's people just trying to wrestle, trying to do on day to day. Yes, we should be recognizing it and doing that, but at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is, these are just, let them be humans, whatever their orientation is, their sexual orientation or personal orientation, let it be. Because that's not what, if I'm a wrestling fan, I'm not there to talk that politics or anything like that. I'm there to watch them wrestle, right? Now, I'm happy they're out. I'm happy they're doing all that stuff, and I will be an adamant supporter till the day I die. But let them wrestle, because that's just the way it should be. I mean, if I'm picking one thing, I'm being a simpleton, and it's figure out your fucking rules. That might be one of the things that I picked. But I mean, because I would get rid of not knowing what is a disqualification or anything. I'm talking AEW, because you got people pulling stairs out, throwing them at them. They're supposed to be disqualified and shit of that nature. I need to know what these rules are. Is this ECW, AEW type mentality, or what is this? See, I'm a simpleton. I'm not even going to the deep stuff that Mark did. I need to know what your fucking rules are, so I know if it's going to be a DQ or if they're just allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. Because this motherfucker's got to wait till back's turned so he can hit somebody with a ring. But this guy can throw a fucking steel chair at their head and they won't be disqualified. So give me something.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Tyler from North Kakalaki. There you go. Thanks for stealing my question and throwing it right back in our faces.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dear Can Crushers, this is the first time I'm writing into a podcast or questions contest. Oh, this is not a contest. Whoever you are yet.
You get to listen to our voices answer your questions, so that's your big win here.
Right. This is the first time writing into a podcast for questions, contests, or anything. Well, good.
Yep.
I'm such an asshole.
I'm honored. Thank you.
So I hope my question gets picked. It is. There you go. It's picked. I really enjoy listening to Mark and Mike talk about wrestling, although sometimes I disagree with their predictions. Oh, you're getting on our bad side all of a sudden.
Nah, I love it. Let's do it.
My question is, if you could go to dinner, like WWE's table show, with any wrestlers, who would you go with and why? Deb from Altoona. Oh, shit. I don't know Deb, but Deb's close enough that I could probably run into Deb. Deb, I'm sorry. First and foremost,
Deb, just have MJF pay you $50 to kick Mark in the nuts, and it'll be okay.
First and foremost, I am glad that you picked Can Crushers to write in first. It is questions. Definitely not a contest or anything like that. So I apologize for that. Yes, I'm glad that you disagree with us. That's what this show is essentially about. We have been agreeing way too much recently because we're getting on the same page in life and wrestling.
Yeah.
That kind of scares me. But we'll start going against each other soon again.
We will. We'll get there.
We've been fucking locked and loaded.
Somehow. But to that point, things seem predictable. So you get fucking in a groove where you're like, plus, we got to defend titles here. We're defending 6-packs. We got to be playing safe bets here.
Right.
You see how much we crash and burn with the risks that we take when we do that. But
we get one right. And we're like, yeah, Jenks won with one right.
It's
So we've had this question before, but I'm sure if you go back years ago when I answered it or you answered it or whatever, it's going to change. So as of right now, who do you want to go? We want to pick three, because she's referencing table 4 essentially, right?
Yeah, we should pick 3. I'm going to go.
And it doesn't have to be one organization. It could be
no. Because I think I would go Becky, Saraya, Sky Blue. And here's why. I want their perspectives of, actually take Saraya out and let's put Trish in. Because I want their perspectives on women's wrestling as it is today, where it can go to in the future, and how the past can inform that future. So in my mind, I'm getting perspective from all 3.
You're such a good person because I'm taking this completely different way.
Yeah, I figured you would. But my thought is, Sky, you're the future state. You see professional wrestling in a different light than what would Becky see it, and what Becky sees is different from what Trish is. And to me, I'm very interested in that conversation and hearing that. Now, I'm just a white fat boy from Erie, Pennsylvania, so I'm not getting a lot. Like, I have nothing to add to the conversation besides facilitating it and saying, okay, so you're seeing it as this from your time. Sky, how do you see it? To me, I just think that would be a fascinating conversation to have 3 women from I hate to say different generations, but different generations and how they view the business as it is today and where it can go in the future. Because it ties back to that question we had before around why isn't AEW pushing the newer talent, the younger talent? How do you get them there? How do we make that movement? I think there's a lot of good conversation to be had there.
I like how you have Trish, which is, this is not a knock, the elder, only WWE.
Yep. Right.
Saraya, you have Becky.
I did get rid of Saraya, but because I wanted that elder stateswoman of it. If I had Saraya there, that would be an interesting conversation just to understand. Okay, you had AEW and WWE, but from an injury perspective, how do you get yourself back into that? So I'll cheat a little bit. But for Becky, she was in the Indies. Then she had to leave because it wasn't doing what she wanted it to do for her career. Then she came back and had a god-awful Irish jig thing and had to build herself back.
Last kicker. I don't care.
No, I didn't mean the last kicker. I mean, when she first debuted, she had a god-awful Irish jig that she had to do to the ring. But last kicker was great, but that full evolution to the man, how do you make that transition? You know, and then for somebody for Sky Blue, we've seen her on Impact, or not Impact, but we've seen her on Dynamite, we've seen her in Collision. Maybe that's something that Sky Blue can build off of. We're seeing a sort of transformation for her today. Where does she see that in the future? Does that continue to evolve her into the future? I think there's just elements at play that I think everybody would benefit from hearing from. What?
You're right.
Why are you laughing at me?
Because I love your answer, because it is perfect. I'd love to hear that. I would hope you get to facilitate it. I really would. That would be awesome.
I love it. Yeah.
I want to hang out with Ric Flair, Hangman Page, and Tommy Dreamer so we can just get fucking drunk.
Hammered all the time. I mean, that's perfectly fine too. Hey, listen, I would love to hang out with Hangman and just get chat. Ric Flair, I don't know if I got to take him to the hospital at the end of the night or not.
Right.
So.
And Tommy Dreamer's always just been like, he's just like Uncle Tommy.
Yeah.
You know, I really, I'm taking it a different way. I'm taking it as a mark just to get and hang out with the boys. Would I love something like Jenks just said? Yeah, I would. You know, that could be with the women would be great, or transition it to keeping Flair away from the bar to maybe Cena to Roman. There's generations of everybody that was and still is a face in wrestling. Could possibly be on the Rushmore. All of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Agreed.
Being the number one person in wrestling, how'd you truly live your life or something like that? But I knew Jenks was going to go this way. I'm going to get fucked up. That was from Deb from Altoona. Great first question, Deb. I hope you continue to write in questions.
I agree. Thanks, Deb.
Hey, Can Crushers! Love the show. Long-time listener. And you guys read a few of my, I'm paraphrasing, you guys read a few of my questions on air before. Thanks for all the hard work you guys do. Entertaining shit. I only hope someday someone big notices you and you guys get on a big company. Great chemistry. Sweet.
Thank you.
Nonetheless, enough smoke blowing up your asses. This guy fits us. My question is, do you think Sting will win a title before he leaves in February? And do we get Darby Sting in his last match? Keep crushing those beers, boys. Doug.
Thanks for the question, Doug. And I'm going to answer this simply.
The smoke being blown up our asses.
Yeah, man, the smoke being blown up my asses. I'll answer it 2 words. No and yes. I guess that's 3. But no title run. But yes, I think the last match is with Darby.
I think it's that easy. I don't think he sniffs a title, and I think this keeps Darby away from a title until February.
Yeah, agreed, because this is going to be the build-up. There's probably, let's say, they might not put too much into it. It could be just Sting and Darby as Sting's last match, because that's what he wants. Or they could put a little bit of thought into it. Maybe it's Darby and Christian and Full Gear, and Sting somehow costs Darby type thing. That causes a rift, whatever they want to do. But it's very simple. It's going to be Sting and Darby, because I think that was always the end goal, was Sting wanted Darby to be the one to retire him.
Pass that torch.
Pass the torch. Yep.
And Sting was pretty adamant. He's like, hey, 2015 when I retired, he used that word. It wasn't what he wanted it to be. I'm Sting telling you one thing. February is it.
Yep, it's the last one.
And I think, because I know him personally, yes, I don't think we see Sting anymore. Like, I think he fucking rides into the sunset. You might get a con once a year or something. I don't think he pops up for anything.
No, because I think he's done. He's fully out of it, and he's just ready to be done with it. And you'll just see him sprinkling once in a while. Like, to your point, once in a while, or if Khan just needs a big name for a show, like.
Oh, I meant like Comic-Cons. I didn't mean.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But you never know. He might need somebody for like a NXT versus Dynamite show or something like that. Yeah. And I have a shit-eating grin on my face just to kind of.
Doug, keep coming with them. I do see Doug's every time we read these. I really do. So, and I do like to smoke up my ass, Doug. So you can keep coming. If a big company wants to sign us, fucking right. Let's
love it. Let's have an interview show. Let's do this.
Alex from West Virginia. I heard some rumors that Billy Corgan will now negotiate with some of the free agents since NWA has a deal with CW. Well, we kind of talked about that. What are your thoughts on who might go? Do you think NWA will now compete with Impact? Well, let's go 2 first. Will they compete with Impact?
I think it's going to take a while because they have to build back up. I think they will eventually, but it's going to take a little bit of time before they get there.
Again, because, listen, Impact has a slotted time, Thursdays, access, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock,
Yep.
I think with it being, I don't know. I mean, I didn't read into all of the details of this. If it's a live show on CW, okay, then maybe they will have, whenever, Thursday nights at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10 or whatever. But I don't know if it's a live show. I don't know. Like, CW has been putting a lot of pit games on.
Yeah.
This year. So they have the possibility of doing live stuff.
Yeah, they have that ACW, ACC, whatever, ACC contract that they're putting on Saturday nights and that. But to your point, I don't see NWA changing their model too much because it's cost effective, first of all, so they can kind of be like, okay, we can do a bunch of tapings, then we'll put them out. That's easier than just having 50 people every week try to come to a sound stage, coordinating those efforts. So I think they have more playroom with that, essentially.
Maybe when the money starts to grow, they look at doing something like that. And I'm saying probably 6 months to a year down the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So will they instantly compete with Impact? No. Is it their goal? I think that should be their goal.
Yeah, because I think that's the most attainable goal right now is with Impact. I don't think they'll ever get to the mega status level, so you got to go for that second tier. Impact's your competition. So can you take people away from Impact and can you play with it there? So
then that's question number 1. Who are some of our thoughts that would jump over? I didn't look into the contract. I don't know how much they're legit getting or anything like that. It is definitely more than they've gotten from YouTube or Fight. I'm sure of that.
Right.
But if Carlito didn't just sign with WWE, I would have said people like Carlito. And yeah. I'm not knocking Carlito, but you're mid-level in WWE AEW would be your main event there.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah. Is Jordan Grace still a free agent, or did she sign back with Impact?
Yeah.
Did she? Okay. So I was going to say, I mean, that would have been the one for me that I think they could have made a big splash with, because Camille is done with NWA. She has set her contracts.
Yep, that's somebody you should throw money right at.
Right at, exactly. And, well, my thought is, do you throw money at both of them and have that kind of big, you'll have two very popular women going at it, and they could be the center. But I know they want to push who they have now more up in that range. So
Patty, Brinkowski,
and
Haley, what the hell? You might be able to steal somebody like Hollywood Haley J from OVW.
Good. Yeah. So the possibilities are there. And I think if you could make a market for, or make and build a women's division that can rival different organizations in that, there's an opportunity right now. That's why we've had so many questions, and that's why my answer for the dinner was about women's wrestling and how can it be advanced. The opportunity is there to steal the women's wrestling market. And I know that's not the NW line. I know that you do it, but
I know one right now.
Okay, but I'm just saying that could be where your play is. If you want to get some female audience and try to play that field, you have an opportunity there. But what were you going to say?
Depending if there's added on to her contract because of the injury over the year or whatever, Rose's contract is done at the end of this year. She has worked with NWA, been the NWA champion. All AEW and NWA. Is Rosa a tick to go back over?
Maybe. Could walk right in the door.
I mean, we hear everything's washed under the rug at AEW. She's going to come back. The problem is, I'm hating to say this because I love Thunder Rosa and I love everybody in AEW, but she's going to be on Collision. And I know, yes, there has been some crossover on Collision, but Collision is a brand for people that don't get along with some of the people that get on AEW.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Yeah, and I mean, to that point, is Rosa at a certain ceiling because of those relationship issues with those on Dynamite? Yeah. But where's the cap for her? Because there's a ton of people in the main event scene right now, the older guard. Is Rosa there? That's why I was saying maybe she gets in the TBS title range first off, but it's unknown what they could do. So, Thunder would be perfect walking the cross line. Because like we said earlier, when that first show on CW happens, they have to have somebody big now because that's been the precedent set in wrestling. You want to make an impact and get people to watch night 2 or the second show, have somebody walk out.
Yep. I mean, somebody big has to be it. And I can't tell you it's going to be CM Punk. Can't imagine.
It's not.
Right.
And I could even say, and I would say to this point, and this is no knock because he's the king of the indies, but even if Cardona walks out on NWA, people are going to be like, okay, but who else do you got?
Yeah, he's been here.
He's been here. So that's cool that he returned. That's a big signing. You got somebody else?
Yeah.
Because unfortunately for you guys, history has put it, you got to have that big stinking gun come through, a la Luger on Nitro,
yep.
Danielson and Cole on All Out in 2021. The bar has been set. Somebody major has to walk out. And this is why we talked about Grand Slam so not great a couple weeks ago, because we're like, something major has to happen here. We're waiting for something major to happen here, and nothing did because they had Saraya, then they had Danielson, Omega 1. History.
Yep, repeats.
And
it didn't repeat, and we're like...
this was kind of lackluster kind of Dynamite, and now this is where we're at. So...
Listen, we're both excited for NWA.
Yes.
I think we really are. And we'll probably cover definitely night 1, and we'll trickle from there. It depends on... Jenks is going to get it Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to get it Monday at 1 o'clock in the morning. We just don't know, because my CW, I think, is Johnstown. Yours is probably... Who the fuck knows?
It's probably just Erie, yeah.
Yeah. So it all depends on what's planned. But, yeah, we'll talk about it. But I'm still not ready to give, as we said, roses or flowers or anything yet. It's got to it's got to do. So Doug, not Doug. Doug already answered it. Alex from West Virginia. What's up, guys? That's not my question. This guy's been on the show before. Normally, you both play devil's advocate to each other. But today, let me play devil's advocate and stir the pot. What ex-WWE star has not had greener pastures by heading to AEW? Or let me put it this way. What WWE star has failed by going to AEW? Jeremy from the 412. So Jeremy's from Pittsburgh area.
Has not had greener pastures. Well, I mean, the obvious answer is Bobby Fish because he was in and out in very quick time, but that's a low bar.
Keith Lee?
I think Keith Lee's probably the biggest one that jumps to mind, not size-wise, but just bigger name.
Both.
I mean, the Hardys haven't really done anything, but there's been a lot of different issues with that, and it's like, when you're at that stage of your career, how can you elevate it to that point? I think Keith Lee might be the answer.
For a long time before Jeff trickled over.
Yeah, no, that's true. He was there during COVID and that, and Jeff came over. That kind of fell a little bit flat on its face. I would, honestly, Keith Lee's...
Andrade? Well, no, because I'm just throwing more out. Andrade hasn't done... Andrade, Miro, and Keith Lee are probably the three.
Yeah.
Notables that we want to talk about, maybe.
Well, now that you say that, it might be Miro, because think about Miro. He hasn't really... He had a minor injury at one point, but he just
got
got
left.
A year. He was gone for a year. He was just off television. They just wouldn't bring him back. And when I think of Andrade, they had at least... They gave him an initial push. They put him in the TNT title picture. They gave him something to look forward to. Miro, they pushed him, took it away. Pushed him, didn't take it away. Keith Lee he got the tag title, so he's already a step ahead of somebody.
Yeah, so Keith Lee is off the list.
Yeah, so I think it's Miro. I think Miro just was so stop and go during his time in AEW, and I'm hoping they now take him to the next level, but he's stuck in the lower level fuse with the CJ stuff. Yeah.
I mean, if her first big signing is going to be Action Andrade.
He's in for a long several months of whatever the hell he's feuding with.
Yeah, where do we lead him? Do we get Jungle Boy back after suspension? And how long is this? I don't know why that popped in wood. How long is this suspension?
I honestly think his suspension's up and they're just waiting for a good time to bring him back.
Clearly.
Yeah, there's no way he was suspended for this long for that whole thing.
Nothing for him to do.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I mean, they need to figure it out. Maybe they'll pull a swerve and put Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne with him, and that's the precursor for whatever Edge has been talking about for the past several weeks. Who knows?
Jeremy from 412. Hey guys, this is from Kristen, by the way. Hey guys, is the BCC still a thing? Danielson is the face of Collision with his colors back. Mox is always hurt. Yuta has lost his momentum, and Claudio is Claudio.
I think there's still a thing. I mean,
I don't think Danielson's part of BCC anymore.
I think he's walked away from it. I think he's done with BCC, and apparently there's a Blackpool Combat Club training session with just backstage equipment, which is fucking hilarious. I caught that during the break, and all I see is Claudio moving a light stand right now. But I would agree to the point of, Danielson's away from it. I think the group is more of an alliance than it is a team now. Because if you think about how tight-knit they were at the end of 2022, and now it's, we'll come to your aid when you need us, but until you need us, we'll kind of just stay our own paths. That's why you see him pop up on Dynamite when Danielson's getting jumped 2-on-1, 3-on-1, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
No, I would agree. Oh my God, you wait to hear this next question is like a fucking mile long. 2 questions away. No, I would agree. It's an alliance that people are just, they're there. We're buddies. She's dead nuts though. Like Yuta's just.
Yuta's just there. Yeah, Yuta doesn't have any momentum whatsoever.
Good job, Chris.
Since he lost the Pure title, I think even before that, he kind of just went downhill, but
yeah. I read this one in my head before I read it to you.
Uh-oh.
Will you ever interview someone from WWE or AEW? I don't know half the people you talk to. Thanks for all the hard work, though, Gus. This is why I don't read them. Gus, thank you. The spotlights, Jenks can chime in. This one kind of hurt. The spotlights are for the indie stars. I mean, we get a legend here and there that we can rekindle some great things or anything, and I say it during the spotlights that, hey, we know everything about Randy Orton, where he came from. We know everything about this one. Lifeguard Ross this past week, great story about how he got into wrestling and everything like that. We're releasing, the spotlights are the release so you know, and you can go on to IWTV or Title Match TV or Mission Pro TV and, follow their careers along. To get to the WWE AEW part of this, holy fuck, there's hoops and everything you need to jump through that sometimes are hard enough with indie stars.
Yeah.
To get them on your show. Would I love to have Britt, Thunder Rosa, Sky Blue, Julia, Seth Rollins, and the list can go on, and even Shinsuke to get a translator or whatever to come on and talk wrestling, and whenever they want to talk about on Can Crushers, yes, I would love it. But again, that's not the platform I've ever imagined. It really isn't. It all started with covering IWC and Imagine and OVW and now High Ground and, wherever, Smash Masters, any place out west with, Malik and Olivia and all those guys that we talk to. This is really, Can Crushers is for the interviews mostly so you get to recognize indie stars that are making waves and doing things. So I apologize that you don't know them, but follow them because, talking to Lifeguard Ross, Bobby Blaze put him over when you have Bobby Blaze, Bobby Blaze. Either this kid's going to do something in the world. He's 18. He's been in wrestling less than a year. That it takes 5 to 10 years before you're sniffed by a big one, and then you get your name out. A la Billy Starks. We had Billy Starks on.
Yep.
She was young, where there wasn't places she needed. It's out there now. Places that she didn't need a license to wrestle. She could wrestle.
Yeah.
If she had to get a license in Podunk, wherever, she couldn't wrestle because she wasn't old enough. So we have those people. That's what it's about. To get the recognition for them, as a marketing for them, and stuff like that. Yes, we'll get a legend. Yes, we'll get some authors, this, that, and the other thing. Because I'm sure in about a month, Vinny Barry is going to be coming back on, a la our Christmas present, because I know the book, and I'm super excited about the book. I'm not going to release it. But yes, he'll come on and tell us everything about his new book. But Gus, I apologize. We'll try WWE, AEW. Yes, they're always welcome. Legalities and this and that, and what we can actually ask them, being truthful to you, isn't what we ask wrestlers.
Yeah.
When you talk to WWE people, they're talking about what they're doing at Louisville or what they're going to do in Albany, New York. It's a promotional interview. It's not, how the fuck did you get into wrestling and tell us that cool ass story?
And even then,
yeah,
that one hurt. I get it. I think Mark summed it up perfectly. To your last point, we've kind of heard their story about how they got into wrestling and all that stuff, and Mark alluded to it. We know their stories. So what's the next thing we would ask them? And it takes some digging. I mean, we're not Nordwall. We don't know. We don't have FBI contacts where we can find out random things from their past that we can ask them about, like what their wrestling name was, a la Dude Love. Like, let's say Dude Love never became a thing. We couldn't have gone back and researched, I heard you were Dude Love at one point, or who's Dude Love type of thing. So I think it opens honestly, if it ever could happen, it would open a very challenging situation of, I can't speak for you, but for me, it would be.
Who said it? The guy that blew smoke up our ass. This is how fast I forget stuff. Oh, it was Doug.
Yeah.
That wants us to go on a bigger. We'd need a research team. We'd need
a lot.
Serious, high heart, somebody to pick us up. We're the faces of the company, but we have minions working underneath us
to get us the information that we can have, so that we can have the conversations. But never say never. It could happen at some point. It could very well happen. But I would encourage you, listen to Spotlights. Take a chance on the indies. Go to High Ground. Go to your local indie show. Go somewhere and just watch wrestlers there. Just take it in for a night.
Never know who is going to be the next Roman.
Exactly, because then you can say, hey, I saw Smoothman Slick in Podunk, Ohio, and he was amazing. And now he's on the big stage and he's winning all these championships and all that. Because there's people and fans that go through that every single day. And Mark is a living, breathing example of that. You've seen them get to the big time with Britt. You've grown with her and watched her grow over the years. It's just one of those things. Find the indies, find the talent, follow them. Because you know which ones are great and going to be huge someday. And you'll know which ones are, hey, they're going to be hanging around for a while. They're going to be your weekend warriors. They're going to have a 9 to 5 during the week. And on weekends, they're doing their best to entertain the fans.
And I'll put this out there and then we'll move on. Again, this one stung. You'll be able to talk to more people, more wrestlers, more talent in an indie show. Million times than a WWE or AEW show.
Yeah.
Without paying the lucrative meet and greet.
Right. No, absolutely.
And the indie stars want you to say, hey, my name is Donnie Bambino. Watch for me in the next couple of years because I'll be taking over Impact to AEW to WWE.
Yep.
Then you have that connection. And I'm glad you brought it up. Kind of like with Britt or Ray Lynn or, Wardlow. When they do something, you're like, I remember when this jackass out of love came out and got beat up by Slow Joe.
Yeah. I remember when this happened. I could tell you the date, time, and everything about it.
Not the date.
Well, I'm trying to give you benefit of the doubt.
All right, Gus. Listen, look at this fucking. This is one question.
Oh my God.
Can Crushers rock? Mark, sing that like New Day. Huge fan of the show. Huge fan of sports like you guys. So being honest, I don't watch wrestling live anymore, but I listen to the show. And if you guys are hyped about a match, then I go back and watch it. So thanks for being my true wrestling intake for the week. This is cool. My question is, you know how fans / writers will always compare Babe Ruth, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky? Could they shine in today's sports? Why don't we do that in wrestling? Would Hogan, Race, Andre, and the list could go on, compete? And Mark, I'm going to put Dusty in there too. That one hurt again. You guys are fucking killing me all of a sudden. You guys can add or subtract whoever you want. Mark will be pissed that I added Dusty. Oh, I should continue to read these as I'm reading them live on air. Thanks for keeping me in the know of pro wrestling and not being pieces of shit like Jim Cornette, who hates himself. Roll Tide, Blake. This guy just put me on an emotional roller coaster. First, he wants me to sing. 2, he's loving us that we're his only wrestling. God, you're awesome. I love the question. You did hurt me with Dusty. You brought it back by shitting on Cornette, and then you really lost us by saying Roll Tide.
There was a roller coaster of emotions there that I don't think either of us were equipped to handle.
No.
Oh my God.
I do know these questions. I actually MLB just did something. Maybe it was with Junior, Ken Griffey Jr., who you guys don't know who that is. Comparing him to Trout or comparing him to the one from the Twins. What the hell is Broxton?
Buxton.
Yes.
Byron Buxton, yeah.
they did this whole comparison and da-da-da-da-da. I don't know if we want to holy shit. I mean, we're running long, and I don't care.
No, you're fine.
This is great. Hogan, Andre, and Race. If you want to talk about Dusty, we can talk about Dusty, but comparative to wrestlers today.
And would they fit in? I mean,
phone's down. This is going to be a long conversation.
I'd throw Hogan out right away.
I would too.
I think Hogan would not fit in today. I think if he started today with his gimmick, we would look at it as a ripoff of John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be dead in the water. So I don't think Hogan would be. Andre's
wait.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Are you throwing in his move set as well? Because listen, that's where I went with Hogan right off the bat. A leg drop is a start of the match anymore.
Yeah. It's not a finish. It is 100% not a finish. I was throwing in his moveset, everything about who Hulk Hogan is and what made him his millions of dollars would not get over to it. Would not be anything that could get him any farther than a jobber status.
Yeah. No possible way. I agree. Yeah. Hogan's gone.
Hogan's gone. Andre, it's a spectacle, man. You could see him, and in his early days, he could wrestle, and he could throw a drop kick, and he could do all of that stuff. So if I'm taking early Andre, that's a spectacle I want to see daily. Hopefully they won't have him turn heel face like Big Show all the time. But I digress. So I think Andre would make it.
Andre's fine. He's got the spectacle, largest man in the world. He could, if you want to even pimp him, if he's going to pimp himself out, he goes to Impact for a little bit and does something there. Then with Moose.
Yeah.
Then he comes to AEW and him and Wardlow or Lance Archer do their whatever, and then goes to Damian Priest. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Andre, I think 100% could still be fine.
Harley, I think is still fine. He's such a charismatic showman. He's a ring technician. He knows his way. There's reasons why guys in the 90s and 2000s were really talked highly of Harley and learning a lot from Harley. Is because he could do all of that. He could teach a lot of people that. But we take it back to his heyday. Yeah, because he figured it out. Harley Race figured it out and knew how to run with it. Harley would be good. I'll take it a step further. Dusty would be perfectly fine.
Yeah. If he threw Dusty in the goat me, I'm going to punch Blake in the face. Dusty, words that we sometimes don't have on the show. Dusty sells himself. Listen, greatest wrestler ever? Far from it.
Yep.
Persona, what he did Cena. Cena did 5 moves for fucking 12 years. Dusty could do that because he could talk just like Cena.
Yep.
The thing is, I don't think Hogan did the amount of putting him in wrestling today. I don't think Hogan could do the amount of talking. His promos, brother. And this isn't shitting on Hogan because I know there's a lot of people that hate Hulk Hogan outside of wrestling and everything. That's again personal. Throw it out. What he did for professional wrestling is why I watch it.
Right.
I will always say that is why I watch it. This is just comparison to wrestling now. Hogan's promos weren't anything. Put Hogan against MJF right now.
He'd be dead in the water in 2 seconds. Because MJF would literally take that brother and shove it up his ass. It would not even make it. Shine it up. Hogan versus Rock was not even a competition at the time. It was past Hogan's prime, but it was not even a competition because Rock dragged him in the talking competition. Hogan is very much a very linear, very much a brother, vitamins, prayers, I'm coming for you, intensity. And that's how he electrified. And he had the charisma to electrify the crowd and make them believe in him as that superhero. But if you just start him out today, John Cena did that. But John Cena is a way better talker and a way better wrestler. Actor, wrestler, whatever you want. And he's going to just pale in comparison to what we've already seen.
completely agree. Blake, you did piss me off for a minute because you're trying to build me. You really pissed me off when you wrote Roll Tide. So this was a great question. We could throw in, and maybe this is something that we talk about down the line. Like we really maybe bring up factors or something like this for one of our specials that are in December or something like that. We come up with a list and say, hey, could this person do it? And we'd banter back and forth because there's a lot that could be talked about.
There's a ton. A ton of superstars. A ton of tag teams.
Oh, yeah. Tag teams would, I could name a list of tag teams right now that wouldn't sniff TV time.
Yeah.
But they were multi-time champions.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them are bigger names.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is definitely, we'll call this back.
Yeah.
Blake, I really do love that question. That is something that I see it in sports.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, but you never think about it in wrestling because of the way wrestling is. Predetermined. Without all that. But overall, Blake, and we're going to mention your name one more time. Thank you for being your only intake of wrestling unless you hear us say something. That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Gutsy.
Yeah.
Gutsy to listen to us and say, oh, they talked about an Omega and Danielson match. I better go watch it.
Watch it. All right, let's go.
You're swinging by the seat of your pants, buddy.
We hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, clearly you do. I hope you email me back just shitting on me later on this week, too. Can Crushers, just wanted to know if you guys would ever pull the trigger on doing shorter daily shows and adding them to YouTube or going live on social to chat with Can Crusher Nations live. Trish from Cuba, New York. No.
If we won $1 billion, yes. But
this wraps back around to another question. Like, yes, if this is something that is our 9 to 5, and we have that team behind us to do this. You've heard me with our buddies at the Final Count and the ringside. They get to go. They are going to YouTube and doing interviews and everything there. I'm transparent. I don't have that time. Right now it's play season, then basketball season. They already sent me a schedule for basketball season. And daily, again, that's something like a Sirius or an iHeartRadio or like Busted Open, who has the litany of people that do the research. Unless this is our forever job, which, trust me, we would both jump on it in a heartbeat. So we're not saying it would never happen. But as Can Crusher sits right now as a, air quotes, business. It doesn't fit the scheme. This game is over, by the way, 38-0.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't fit the scheme because it's rough for us to lead our lives. Jenks is, listen, since he's been on the show, relationship, he's got building a family, doing things and everything. So I'm not going to take him away unless I'm going to pay him to be able to do this. It doesn't make sense.
For both of us, we do a lot of different things and a lot of things outside of just our 9 to 5s and all that stuff. Mark listed off basketball, calling baseball, softball, and that during the spring and summertime. For me, it's relationship stuff, taking care of family, doing things of that nature. There's just so many factors into it. Mark's right. If we could do this 9 to 5, there are days I've driving home and like, man, I really wish I could win that $1 billion so I can just build a studio somewhere and we just go and just hang out in there and just do whatever we want and make this bigger than it is. But sometimes it's not in the cards, and sometimes you just got to play it by ear. Now, would I love to be popular to Twitch stream and do all that fun live chatting stuff? Absolutely.
Love to.
Got the face of a radio star over here though. So I'm gonna stick with that right now and we'll see what happens. But right now it's not in the cards. Maybe it can be, but right now it's not.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Indeed.
So, that was Trish. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish.
I hope, Trish, if you want to start this whole escapade for us, I'll get you a shirt or something. Yes.
Let's get her a hoodie.
All right, a hoodie. Last one, by the way. And good, because my voice is taking a shit. From Kimmy, from nowhere. Just Kimmy says, Michael Jenks has hinted to women's faction since Julia is misting everyone. Please go a little deeper into that.
I think it's something, that's a great question. It's something that I think is coming. I also think it's a sub-faction of the House of Black. Now, there's different ways to break things off, right? And there's different layers to, I'm trying to think of an example in my head, but you can have a sub-house in an actual house. Or, like, say,
apartment.
Well, yeah.
Apartment of Black. Okay.
Yeah, the Apartment of Black. The studio of Black. But what I'm thinking is there's an opportunity here, I think, for them to start pushing more women forward to empower them more. And this kind of ties back to our conversation about how do we push female talent. One of the perfect examples of that is Julia Hart taking it one step further and leading a group of women, a coven of women, if you will. If you go down, and I'm not trying to align witches and women and all that.
They're not nuns.
I was going the witch route, if you know that. But I think leading a coven of women to hail or honor the House of Black, but also to be their own separate entity of sorts, so that when
the Sisters of Salem,
the Sisters of Salem or something like that. See, there's one right there. Something that is serious, can be taken seriously, not something like the Outcasts that were more or less kind of goofy, whatever.
It wasn't lasting long anyway.
It wasn't. There was too many powers at play there, that too many women that could take over and do what they need to do. With the House or the Coven of Black, this really helps expand these women, get them more TV time, and give them more story-driven things that they can start building up a resume to be put into that power that be. Because I don't see it lasting past a year or so, because you're going to want to take Willow, you're going to want to take Sky and pull them up and take out Julia, and then there's a whole thing there. So to me, I think it would be a great power dynamic. We saw things with WWE doing it with Absolution and then with the Riot Squad. And the Riot Squad, because of what happened with Saraya, the Riot Squad really took that and ran and became one of a dominant faction that should have won Tag Team Gold when they had the chance. I think this is AEW's next step. Let's do the Coven of Black. Let's get them up to what they need to be. And it's a perfect way to get the shine on these newer stars.
Agreed. He said it best. There was nothing I could add to it.
Mark Ford's going out too, so we can't
no, I don't know why. I have to protect it. I have a play in 7 weeks.
This is why it's going out. You're trying to do the play. Are you singing?
I'm singing.
There it is.
I have to gargle with salt.
We might have to condense these Can Crusher episodes so you can just save your voice here. I don't know anymore.
Never.
Good.
I'm doing
but
Can Crushers during the play.
Maybe I just come with a recorder and we just do the live Can Crushers and it's just recording the play. It's going to be a bootleg copy of the play we'll put out the 1 week.
They would love that. Sure. Especially with all my caricatures that I am I'm not a drawing. All my characters. Oh my God.
You're not a drawing? Who have I been talking to?
Listen. Listen. What do you got going on for the week? By the way, all right, listen. Jumping all over. First and foremost, everybody that sent in a question, thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you.
We do love doing these shows. Even people that roll tide guy. Yes, go to us. We love it. I'm sure you're taking it back just as much as you're going to give it to us. It's awesome. The expansion, yes, it's always hopeful to be there, but you guys support us 100% right now, so it's awesome. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Jenks.
I thank you guys too. Love you guys. And it's always fascinating to hear the questions you come up with because we never think of half of these. We never even think about it. Like, So many good questions come through. I will not shit on you for Rolling Tide or anything like that. I don't like Alabama personally, but hey, you Roll Tide, it'll live long day. I love the question. And it gives us ideas for future shows because it gives us things to kind of play off of and build off of. When I started with Can Crushers 2 years ago, and then we did Ask Can Crushers and that, I think it helped put a lot of different thoughts and made me think about things a lot differently. So I think these Ask Can Crushers really help us make a sharper mind about professional wrestling and think about it in different aspects in different ways.
Yeah.
And I love it. So thank you guys.
We think we know everything, we know nothing.
That's exactly why I said we may have the answers, but you guys always give us different questions. So
what do you got going on the rest of the week and so on and so forth?
Carving pumpkins, celebrating a work anniversary, and moving on up.
Special.
Yeah, I've been at the current job for 5 years, so it's a little bit of a big deal. So, it's nothing.
A little special Monday night.
Yeah, a little recording, nothing big. Just don't want to give too much away right away. I mean, right. we gotta record some things. Some voodoo magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you?
Sisters of Salem. I hope that's a fucking name. Tony.
I want Sisters of Salem or Coven of Black. I think both work.
Yeah.
So, Tony, you haven't stolen an idea from us in a while. Coven of Black, Sisters of Salem. Do your magic.
Yeah, do it. Me, back to back, I have an interview in our little thing, and then
wow.
I'm not releasing this as of yet, but make sure you watch social media because I believe I'm heading to another podcast to be a guest. Right?
Oh my God.
I would, this is thrown right at Jenks. Depending on what you're doing Wednesday at a certain time, because it's via Facebook and all of that stuff, I think you should be pulled in as well. And then play practice and work with one truck that we don't get the other truck back until next week. So
yeah, I
still have vacation. So there could be a day or two that pop up if Mark gets moody. Then
I'm done.
Done. But I do want to see one thing. So linger on a little bit of talk because normally when something is posted, like, hey, there's something big to do at WrestleCade that happened.
Okay.
They didn't post it, so never mind. So I lie.
Such an anticlimactic thing.
I was hoping to announce something pretty cool that you would have seen if you watched the WrestleCade thing, but it didn't. So maybe it's an announcement for next week.
Okay.
So I can spend more money.
Which I think you need to.
We're going to be piss broke. Does anybody want to buy some plasma? Anybody? I'm selling mine for the next month and a half. Remember, just because we're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
You're a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. You can buy Mark's plasma now. But remember to tell your loved ones that you love them.
Because you never know.
Whoop, whoop.